The following is a special presentation of the World Baseball Classic. And then there were four. Tonight in San Francisco begins 3 days of intense competition where there is no longer a tomorrow. You win, you continue. You lose, and you're going home. Team Japan arrives refreshed and the top seed out of Asia. The only champion the Classic has ever known, this team has proven that despite losing some of their marquee major leaguers, they are still a formidable foe. Hirokazu Ibata has fueled the Japanese offense, hitting .571 in this WBC. Team Puerto Rico has finally arrived, ready to take their first swing at claiming the Classic title. Edwin Rodriguez's team has played high-intensity games all week. Some of the outcomes in doubt. Led by San Francisco's own Angel Pagan, this fiery center fielder is returning home, where a few short months ago he was part of a World Series title. We have been all around the world. Tonight we land in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Final round, 2013 World Baseball Classic. Baseball fans around the world and all the ships at sea, we welcome you to San Francisco. We started in this World Baseball Classic with 16 teams. It is now down to 4, and one will be eliminated tonight as Japan and Puerto Rico get ready to go, both seeking the championship. These two teams meeting for the first time in the World Baseball Classic. Gary Thornrick Sutcliffe, and welcome everybody. Delighted to have you with us, and a very happy St. Patrick's Day. You can see, we did it exactly right with the green shirts.
For once.
Yeah, for once. 4 teams who are here and all have a story to tell.
You know, my big concern is Japan. They have had 5 days since they played a meaningful game. Will they be rested or will they be rusty? We know that Puerto Rico played yesterday.
Puerto Rico is ready to go as they've played day after day after day, and their stars have snuck up on nobody.
Well, and when you talk about defense, nobody stands out more than Yadier Molina. If there's one guy that can slow down a terrific Japan offense, it is Molina. The cannon behind home plate, the leadership that he has in calling a game, that will be key tonight with Mario Santiago on the mound. But offensively, it is Angel Pagan. He is back home again here in San Francisco. He led the Giants, of course, to the World Series just a year ago. Can he lead Puerto Rico to the World Baseball Classic Championship? We'll find out tonight.
Angel Pagan has put up the 360 numbers. He's gotten on base, scored runs, driven in runs, of course, with the world champion San Francisco Giants. Yadier Molina leads the team with that 368 average, and he too has a World Series ring. When we take a look at the other side of it, Japan is here with more runs scored and the highest batting average of the 4 teams that are here. Yet, we turn to pitching.
Well, when you go back to 06 and 09, which we were both here, it was the pitching that helped them win that championship. Of course, in 06, it was Daisuke and Koji Uehara. Again, in 09, it was Daisuke and Yu Darvish. If they want to win again, it's going to have to be the pitching that is the #1 key. On the mound tonight is 24-year-old Kenta Maeda. He has outstanding command. He's led the Japanese league in strikeouts the last couple of years. He can expand the zone below and up. He is going to have to be terrific again tonight, as he has been in his first 2 starts, for them to get by an amazingly hot Puerto Rico team.
For Santiago, he needs a better game than he pitched against the USA, but he did not pitch poorly in that game. He's going to be with the Dodgers organization. The head is just real tough. He won the Central League pitching Triple Crown in 2012. All the ceremony of the World Baseball Classic. First semifinal, one tonight, one tomorrow, and then the championship game. Great to have you with us around the world as we get set to go. Starting lineups when we come back to San Francisco. And we welcome you back to San Francisco. It has been a glorious day here, and it's going to be a beautiful evening, a little bit on the cool side as we get going. But otherwise, it's going to be a great night for baseball, and a couple of ball clubs ready to rock and roll here tonight. Lots of fans, some 35,000 are expected to be here tonight. And obviously there'll be a very large contingent of fans for Japan. with a very large population of those with the Japanese heritage here in San Francisco.
Yeah, but one thing that we know from Miami, it doesn't matter how many fans Puerto Rico has here tonight, they're going to be heard, they're going to be loud, particularly if their team can get anything going offensively.
It's about 10 a.m. in Japan. They expect that they will have one of the largest television audiences ever. 1 out of every 3 TVs was turned on in Japan the last time this team played here in the World Baseball Classic. They expect that many or even more to be watching this game in the morning hours in Japan. This is a very big deal for both of these teams. Let's take a look at the lineup that we will see for Puerto Rico, which is going to be the visiting team here. Pagan has been the table setter. Beltran's got some power. He's got the only home run this team has hit. Aviles has been the one who has provided the RBIs. You get to the bottom third of the order, and they just hope for a little scrappiness and maybe some on-base people.
I don't know if they're going to get anything from the bottom of the order, particularly how good Japan's pitching is. The guy, to me, that has got to wake up is Carlos Beltran, possibly a Hall of Famer when his major league career is over with. He is hitting right now under 200 coming into play in this World Baseball Classic.
And it will not be easy, as they are going to go up against a pitcher considered to be number 1 on the staff in Japan right now, a 24-year-old right-hander.
And Gary, when you talk about the great pitchers, if you're going to get them, it's an old cliche, you got to get them early. And there is more pressure in this ball game than he has ever faced before. He did have an opportunity, though, over the last 5 days when Japan was in Arizona to talk to both Daisuke and Yu Darvish about this pressure.
He has never pitched in international competition before pitching in the World Baseball Classic, and he said this will be the biggest game that I have pitched in my career. So he says, I think it will help me overall in my growth, but he says this next game is going to be the biggest experience I've ever had. Take a look at the defense, and they have played well as they always do. Defense has always been an important part of it. Decatur will make the start in left field. Joe Decatur, it'll be Iote playing in center. He has the strongest arm of the outfielders. Ichikawa will make the start in right field, a veteran. Matsuda, he will be at third base, a veteran third baseman there. Sakamoto gets the start at shortstop. Very good, big range. Totiani, he's a veteran at second base, good defender. And Abba, a seasoned veteran over there at first base. And working behind the plate, their big bat, Abe, who also has been a veteran catcher. They are going over the ground rules here in this ballpark. There are 6 umpires who will be working the game, as would be true for the playoff season in the majors. So Edwin Ramirez, who is out there for Puerto Rico, and of course this all has to be translated as Koji Yamamoto, who is the manager, Hall of Fame career as a player in Japan, now managing this ball club.
You know, it's really pretty normal until you get to the 421 mark out there in right center field. But at that 365 mark, they're going to be talking about that. Believe me, Team Japan knows what goes on in that corner because, Gary, if you think back to the All-Star game that we did here, it was Ichiro Suzuki that hit a ball into that area. It was misplayed. The thing caromed away. And up till now, it's still the only inside-the-park home run in All-Star game history.
And this ballpark does not surrender the long ball easily. Fewer home runs hit in this ballpark than any other park in the majors last year.
Well, and it tells you one thing, that the only way they're going to hit home runs is if they're able to pull the baseball. So when you have to locate a fastball, particularly behind an account, stay away, use the big part of the ballpark, which is out in center field.
There's the numbers we were talking about, a substantial difference. Petco Park is not exactly a hitter's yard either, nor is Marlins Park, but look at the 84 home runs. That splash hit sign of the number of home runs hit out into McCovey Cove, which is the water that is beyond the stands in right field. There have been 62 home runs hit out there in McCovey Cove in the history of the ballpark.
Gary, but part of the reason there aren't many home runs hit in this ballpark, the pitching of San Francisco is pretty good as well.
And, of course, a lot of ceremony before the game. The great Orlando Cepeda from Puerto Rico got the ball out to 2 representatives from the teams. Japan, their leading home run hitters. Sadahara, of course, and they got to throw out the first pitch. So the ceremonies that took place just moments ago here in San Francisco. And there'll be lots of names from the many countries who have great baseball traditions who will be here. And that includes Edwin Robertson, who's going to be, Rodriguez rather, is going to be the manager for Puerto Rico, a ball club that's played a lot of games. Seemingly they're on every day they've had a game. They've had very little time off. Had to play yesterday, and as Rick pointed out, Japan has not played since last Tuesday. How will that affect them? They have played a couple of exhibition games against major league teams in spring training parks, but is that going to be enough to have kept this team from Japan sharp? We're about to find out. The hit is ready to go. Pagan will stand in. Angel Pagan has been the leader for Puerto Rico at the top with a 9 for 25, couple of RBIs, switch hitter. First pitch to him will be taken for a strike, and we are underway. Winner stays for the championship game, and the loser is done. Home plate umpire wants the baseball, Bill Miller, because they want to keep it. He's trying to explain, I think, that, and also the fact there was some wristband on that Miller wanted the starter to take off. We get some housework done here early.
Well, that Hall of Fame for the World Baseball Classic continues to grow because they continue to get the first pitch in each and every series.
Outfield will play deep and look for him, actually, for Pagan to go the other way. They give him all the gap room out there. And that pitch will miss outside for a ball. Pagan flew and then Beltran up. This Puerto Rican team comes in with 4 wins, 3 losses. It has not been an easy go for them. They've been in a couple of ball games in which they had to make comebacks in order to win. And they would like to get out on top here. And Pagan is going to step out and try and slow it down and maybe try right away to get into the mind of Mejida, the starting pitcher for Japan. 55 degrees here at game time, and a little breeze blowing out towards center and left. And a swing and a miss. Took a little off that one, 1-2.
That's that split-fingered fastball. He's going to throw a 4 and a 2-seam fastball, anywhere from 90 to 94 miles an hour. A couple of different breaking balls and 2 or 3 different changeups. The swing and miss changeup for him is the split-fingered fastball. The straight changeup is a pitch that he throws when he's trying to get the at-bat over with.
And the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that will be fouled away. In the 2 starts that he has made, he has been outstanding, working 10 innings, 2 hits, 15 strikeouts. He has walked only 1 in the 2 games he has appeared in the World Baseball Classic. And that's the reason he really has moved to the #1 spot. He was considered the #2 starter when Japan came to play in the World Baseball Classic, but is now considered #1 for the job he's done. That'll go to short. Sakamoto up with it will make the play. Over to Anama, and Pagan is retired, 1 away. Keep an eye on their young shortstop who you saw make that play. Of all the players on this team from Japan, he is the one who has been most talked about as maybe the next player from Japan to come to the United States. There are 2 or 3 players in that category, but he gets a lot of publicity in that regard, the way he plays.
He is a legitimate top of the order type hitter for an American League team. He's a legitimate shortstop with a lot of tools.
Here is Falou, and that will be taken for a strike.
Talking with a lot of the players from Puerto Rico, also their hitting coach Carlos Delgado, it's about contact. They have got to put the ball in play. They cannot strike out as much as the teams have been against the Japanese pitcher.
They come in, this Puerto Rican team does, struggling at the plate. They're hitting only .224, by far the lowest average of the 4 teams. They have gotten it done on pitching and clutch hitting and winning some 1-run ball games. 1-1 delivery on the way will be taken outside, and the count will go to 2-1. Falou's got good speed. He's hit both in the 2-hole where he is now and also in the #9 spot. 4 hits in 24 at-bats for him. And that pitch is going to be down low, and he gets ahead of the count, 3-1. Only 1 walk issued in the 10 previous innings pitched. So if he surrenders any free passes in this one, that will be an early story. Made his delivery, and he does. and looked in as though he thought he might have had a strike on that. For Puerto Rico, they come in with the 4 wins and 3 losses. This is how they arrived. First round, 2-1 record. They allowed only 7 runs. Second round, they went 2-2. Their starters got it done with a 2.75. Nelson Figueroa, with that big start, defeated USA in the second round, moving them on to San Francisco.
It really is unbelievable that they're here right now. After that first devastating loss to USA 7-1, then they fell behind Italy. I mean, it looked like their series was over with, but they did come back then, and they're here now.
Beltran will take the pitch outside for a ball. So Maeda struggling here, trying to find the strike zone. Beltran, even in this big yard, is not somebody you want to make a mistake on. See in the Classic, hitting only 192 with just 1 RBI. And the pitch to him, and that's going to miss down low, 2-0.
You know what, Gary, Carlos was telling me before the game that this ballpark to him doesn't seem that big. It's just as the night goes on, it always gets a little cooler. The ball does not carry as well. He was talking about Miami being an absolute joke. He said the only guy there that could possibly hit a lot of home runs is Giancarlo Stanton. He said it's too big.
It is a huge park. Well, the numbers stand up for him, Rick. Here in this ballpark, he's got a .318 batting average lifetime. He's had 5 home runs here and 18 RBIs in 51 games. So this is a ballpark he's done extremely well in. Maeda really struggling now. This is an early story on the first couple of hitters as he falls behind 3-0 with Yadier Molina waiting on deck, and he's walked to the back of the mound a couple of times just to try and regroup.
Edwin Rodriguez was telling us in Miami that Carlos Beltran does not have any signs. He's got the green light here if he wants it.
He'll take it. 4 in a row missed, and on 2 of those, Maeda looked in thinking maybe he had a strike. 2 on, 1 down.
As you and I know, we've seen Bill Miller behind home plate for 14 years now at the big league level. 2010 he was at the World Series. 11 and 12 he was in the league championship. One of the bigger strike zones behind home plate in the game of baseball. I really feel like that Maeda had that scouting report, tried to expand the outside corner, and here in the top of the first is not getting that call.
But Puerto Rico is going to get the opportunity, put even more pressure on Japan here in the first inning. Molina, the cleanup batter, has gone 7 for 19. Yadier Molina does not have an RBI. It's been singles for Molina. 7 hits and 7 singles in the Classic. 1 down. They'll play for 2. And he's taking after 8 consecutive out of the strike zone, and that's a strike.
A little bit surprised. Career high in RBIs for Molina during the past season with the Cardinals. A lot of that came on line drives to the right fielder. Look at the gap Japan is giving him between first and second.
The entire space. Ball will be chopped foul coming off the inside delivery, and that'll make it a 2-strike count. Maeda's a 2-time All-Star, pitched a no-hitter this last year, the first one in the league in 6 years. We told you he had the equivalent of the Triple Crown for a pitcher. He led in wins, strikeouts, and ERA. He's won the Gold Glove a couple of times, and he is only 24 years old. But a bit of a problem here in the first inning. Here's the 0-2 coming. Molina goes down swinging.
Yadier Molina taking the first pitch fastball was really the best pitch that he had to hit. The second strike was a big curveball, and then he finished him off there with the shorter, tighter, hard slider. I mean, he pretty much threw everything that he has at Yadier Molina, and when you have to do that is when you're in a situation like this.
Maeda has in the first 2 games fallen in love with that slider. He has used it a lot, even more than the curveball and equal with the fastball. That slider's really been working for him. Here's Aviles. Can he do it again? Aviles has been the one producing the RBIs. 8 runs batted in, 7 for 24 with a home run and a very fine .292 batting average. The shortstop with runners at first and second 2 down. That's going to go to center field. That should fall in. They were deep. It does. Ballou will score. Throw to the plate all the way through. Not in time. And Aviles has his 9th run batted in. And Puerto Rico's got a 1-0 lead.
Kind of ironic. Puerto Rico coming into play tonight. It only scored 20 runs. They only had 19 RBIs. And as you said, the majority of that coming from Mike Aviles. Aviles last year with the Boston Red Sox really doesn't have a position this year coming into spring training with the Cleveland Indians. He may have one by the time this World Baseball Classic's over with.
So the early lead will go to Puerto Rico. So the team that has had the most trouble hitting and scoring runs gets the first run off the pitcher who had done the best job of shutting down opponents in the World Baseball Classic. That's kind of the way the things have gone for the team from Puerto Rico.
Looking at Carlos Delgado there as he talks to Yadier Molina about the last at bat. I asked Carlos Delgado about Alex Rios. I said, is he getting close? Is that swing coming around? And he looked at me and smiled and he said, you know it's not. He said that's the reason we got him out of the game yesterday. It was not the knee, the collision that he had with Pagan on the fly ball. We wanted him to have some time to clear his head. We'll see if it works.
3 hits, 22 at bats. Pitch is going to miss inside, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. A much longer inning for Japan than they wanted or thought they would have. One of the walks has already scored. And out at second base now, Beltran, and Aviles over at first. 2-ball, 1-strike count. And did he go? They'll check at first base, and no.
Gary, I think not only is this a huge moment in the ball game for Puerto Rico, but I think that was a huge non-call right there. Instead of the count possibly being 2-2 with 2 outs, knowing that Maheda has the ability to strike you out, it's 3-1. Rios now for the first time in a while can be selective and cheat on that fastball.
3-1 delivery on the way, and that is in there. Rick, the early thing here on the fence in the outfield, they are so deep that against a team like Puerto Rico that's not been hitting the ball hard, they're gonna bloop some hits out there. I mean, those outfielders are not going to catch anything in front of them. They're too far away.
That last ball hit by Aviles could have been caught
on a normal center field, but they're back 3, 4, 5 steps further. 3-ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, runners go. Ground ball will go to short. Nakamoto up's got to hurry. He will get the out. So for Puerto Rico, that's the start they had hoped for. 25 pitches thrown in the inning, a run with 2 left on. One of the truly great shots in the world. The Golden Gate Bridge out of San Francisco over the bay. The ocean's right out there and a very busy harbor here. For Japan to look for here, their regular leadoff batter, Torriani, has been able to get on base. They have great power. Abe is batting in that cleanup spot, and Sakamoto has also delivered 6 RBIs, and even in the bottom of the lineup they got a good hitter. So this team offensively is tough. They trail. Torriani leads it off, 3 for 11, a home run, 2 RBIs. On the mound, Santiago, who works quickly, and the pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1.
Santiago, of course, took the loss in that game against USA. The first game played in round 2, couldn't get through 5 innings. And it was really about the odd numbered innings. They scored a run in the first, the third, and the 5th off the right-hander from Puerto Rico.
Torriani will take the pitch, and that is going to miss 2-1. Japan now has a record here of 5-1 in the World Baseball Classic. They are 12-2 when they score first. They are 5-4 allowing the first run of a ball game over the 3 years they've played in this Classic. So when they've given up the first run over 3 years, their record's 5 wins and 4 losses. They've given up the first run here. 3-2 delivery on the way to second base. Ballou plays it and gets the out. for Japan. Take a look at how they got their 5-1 record and got here. First round, the only loss was to Cuba. Second round, they went 3-0. They scored 30 runs in that second round. Their starting pitching, look at that ERA, 1.31 with 24 strikeouts and 20 2/3 innings.
Yeah, and really that loss to Cuba didn't mean anything. It was only a game that determined the seeding as far as the next round was concerned. So the games that they had to win, they have done.
And that pitch will be taken for a strike. About at the plate is the designated hitter. Look at that average, 8 for 14 with 3 RBIs. He is the designated hitter for Japan, batting in the number 2 spot. As we said, their offense has been the most productive of any of the 4 teams. They have scored 43 runs and a team batting average of .294. Second to the Dominican in offense of the 4 teams remaining. Inside to it. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Well, we've seen this with Japan offensively over the last several World Baseball Classic. It's about balance. They can do a lot of things from top to bottom.
Vada will take the pitch outside. He gets ahead on the count here. 3 balls and 1 strike. Take the walk if he can get it. 3-1 delivery to him. That'll be a strike in the inside corner. Santiago works in a hurry.
He does. He might need to slow down a little bit because the command is way off right now.
And a ground ball towards short. Aviles up. 2 down.
I mean, you give up a run in the first inning, and the next thing you know, the manager of Team Japan is mad at you. I mean, all you got to do is look down at the bullpen. I mean, there's not just one guy up. There's 2 guys up right now, as if to say, hey, you go out there and walk 2 more guys, your night's going to be over with.
He's not used to seeing that on the bench from his starters.
I mean, it just doesn't happen that way in the United States.
Got a hold of that one, but it's foul. It'll be up off the facing of the second deck down the left field line. Ichikawa is their right fielder. He's had a home run and 4 RBIs in the Classic, hitting .316. He was the MVP of the Pacific League in 2011. 0-1 delivery. He once hit .378 for a year. In 2008, he won the batting title for the Yokohama Bay Stars. It is the highest average by a right-hander in the history of the Japanese Central League. 1-1 delivery. Another ground ball to short. Aviles is up, long throw. He got it. Santiago with a good job as he gets 3 ground balls to get out of the inning. We've completed 1. Puerto Rico has the early lead. Lots of color everywhere we have gone in this World Baseball Classic, and it's not going to end here in San Francisco. In one of baseball's prettiest parks, AT&T Park on the City by the Bay. And the breaking ball will be in there for a strike. Majeda's got to settle it down. 33 batters faced in this Classic before tonight. He had only 2 3-ball counts. He had 3 3-ball counts in the first inning. Rivera will take the pitch outside.
Well, and Gary, as you mentioned, coming into play in his first 2 starts, he only had 1 walk. And in the top of the first, walking back-to-back Puerto Rico hitters, ended up giving up that run because of it.
Rivera, the off-speed pitch, had his timing off. 3 for 11 with a couple of RBIs for him.
Well, one thing about Majeda, watching the video of the last couple of starts for him, getting that high strike. We talked about the big strike zone of home plate umpire Bill Miller. Normally he doesn't go to that curveball till the 2nd or 3rd time through the lineup. He's breaking it out right now.
1-2 delivery on the way, and then the fastball will be taken inside.
You know, Gary, I look down into the bullpen. The guys up and throwing. Now they've taken the jackets off. I mean, they are flat out getting ready to come in any sign of trouble.
Carlos Rivera, 2-2. Outfield stays very deep on him. And that'll be a ground ball to that hole. That's going to be a base hit. So the leadoff man on here in the second inning, hit number 4 in the Classic for Rivera.
You know, that's one thing right there you very seldom see with Japan. Normally their infield defense is set up according to how they're going to pitch. This is an off-speed pitch. This is a split-fingered fastball down and away. If a left-handed hitter is going to do anything with that pitch, he's going to pull it. But look where the second baseman was starting his defense at. He was pretty much straight up the middle rather than in that hole, cheating over to that gap to maybe make that play.
So Puerto Rico getting some hits early in this ball game. Number 2 for them, and the leadoff man on. Here's Andy Gonzalez with that 176 batting average, 3 for 17. It does have 3 RBIs. Step off, no throw made.
You know, he's only got 3 hits in this series, but I really think up to this point, Andy Gonzalez has the biggest hit. That 2 RBI double with 2 outs against Team USA broke that game open.
And he's bunting. So they're playing for a run here, tried to push it down to first base.
I kind of think to begin with he wanted to bunt for a base hit there. And at the last second he just kind of panicked. The last second he drops it down. It looks like he's going to go, and then he just completely came unglued.
Puerto Rico could not get a run in the ball game yesterday when they put the leadoff man on base. They did it 5 times and did not score a run when the leadoff man got on. See if Gonzalez still wants to sacrifice here. He does. Right back to the mound. They're going to go for the runner at second, and we'll get him. Almost turned a couple. So the sacrifice does not work. The 2-time Gold Glover on the mound makes the play.
And I don't understand why you would try to sacrifice. Think about the game yesterday, Gary. Edwin Rodriguez called for that right there. Rivera had to come out of the ball game because of a hamstring issue. Remember when he got the base hit and they pulled him out of the game? Now you're forcing him to run again. I mean, he's not fast to begin with. Plus you're taking a chance on an injury, along with the fact that's a Gold Glove winner on the mound.
So they change runners at first base, exchanging. Gonzalez is now there. Jesus Feliciano coming up. Feliciano getting the start in left field, a position where Puerto Rico's had a couple of players coming in and out. Only 1 for 7 for Feliciano in the Classic. 1 for 11. Feliciano not under contract with anybody for a major league team. Puerto Rican native, last year AAA Mets organization. Will take the pitch away for a ball. And Mejia being forced to throw, or forcing himself to throw, a lot more pitches here in the first 2 innings of this ball game than he would like to or wanted to do. And it's not the umpiring, he's just not in the strike zone. Bill Miller will give him the strikes if it's there, but he's thrown 34 pitches already. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes, hit and run down to third. Did it? Yes. Double play. Caught at third. Lozada put it away, and that will retire the side. Boy, that's going to help in the pitch count. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Failed sacrifice, and then the soft line drive on the hit and run. Let's take a look at the defense for Puerto Rico, which at times has been a problem. They have committed 7 errors. Feliciano, as we said, in and out of that left field position. Pagan is steady in center field, and Rios has played a solid right field for them. In the infield, Andy Gonzalez may be their best defensive player in the infield. Mike Aviles at short, Irving Falou at second base, Carlos Rivera over at first. And the pitch will be taken for a strike with Yadier Molina working behind the plate. Abe up. Here's their leader, soon to be 34 years old. He can pump it, drives it to left field, but that's a big park, and it's hauled in. Feliciano going back. That ball kept carrying. Had to do a little quick jump step to haul it in.
Hey, Gary, if we can, I'd like to go back to the top of the second inning. I really don't think that manager Edwin Rodriguez had a very good inning. I talked about it to begin with. He picked the wrong guy as a base runner to lay down that bunt. He also picked the wrong pitcher on the mound. There's an out that he just gave away. And then as a manager, when you want to put on the hit and run, the ideal for the hit and run is you're guessing that the pitcher's going to throw a strike. Look at the pitcher. Look at what he forced Feliciano to do. He had to defend the runner, and all he could do was throw the bat at it. I really kind of feel like the manager in that inning just took the team right out of an opportunity to score.
And only 3 batters faced. Here's Sakamoto, the shortstop. It's the young player we were talking about, that everybody's talking about, and a lot of scouts are taking a look at here in the World Baseball Classic. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery to him. Ground ball. That'll go to second base. Falou's got it. And the sinker is working for Mario Santiago so far in this one, as he's picked up 4 ground balls out of 5 outs. Proud to have one of the world's most recognizable blimps providing coverage of today's game. The unique aerial views of the World Baseball Classic being delivered live from our friend and eye in the sky, MetLife's Snoopy 2.
Oh, 2, huh?
TOOTWO.
Oh, 1 couldn't make the trip.
2 could.
Beautiful.
Somebody flipped that coin, and here they are in San Francisco. And the pitch by Santiago is on the inside corner for a strike. Itoi at the plate.
Gary Yadier Molina talking about, for Santiago to be successful tonight, he had to stay out of the middle of the plate. And you know, for the most part, he has been able to do that. You've talked about the sinking action that he's had. 4 of the 5 outs have been retired on ground balls through the infield. But the whole thing is for him to just stay out of the center of the plate, down and away or up and in.
0-2 delivery. Itoi will take the pitch up high. Well, I think one of the things happening here, Rick, you know better than I, a major league pitcher, but Santiago's working so quickly. These Japanese hitters really aren't getting set. This game hasn't even started for them yet. I mean, they're coming to the plate. There's the ball. They hit it. Ground ball out. 3 outs are back on the field. It's like, I think they're still waiting for the first pitch.
I totally agree with you. And they really seem to be off balance. They're late on the fastball. And then on a changeup like this right here, they're almost falling out of the batter's box, just trying to put it in play.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. Itoi will take that one. It is going to be low for a ball. 2 down, nobody on. 6 for 19, a home run, 7 RBIs for the center fielder for Japan. He hit .304, had 9 homers in league play last year in Japan. And Santiago will just miss outside with that one. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Here's where you just stay on the outer half of the plate. It doesn't even have to be down. You've got to throw a strike on the outer half right here.
3-2 delivery, and got him. Changed up on him and gets the out. Santiago gets his first strikeout. He has retired the first 6 batters faced. And as we said, he is doing it in a hurry, and unless these hitters start stepping out, he's going to dominate. A distinct underdog in this ball game has come out and gotten the early lead. They lead it 1-0. And back to the top of the order. Here is Pagan, who grounded out his first time up. And his delivery to him will be fouled back. Pagan has been on base 6 times during the pool in Miami. He's been a tremendous leadoff batter, setting the stage, even if he doesn't score, creating problems. The hitter knows that, wants to keep him off base if he can. Falou waiting on deck. Here's the 0-1. And that'll just miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, Gary Angel told me something before the game that I did not know. Back in July, we've mentioned that he took over the leadoff role, and that's when the San Francisco Giants took off. I kind of thought that it was Bruce Bochy that decided to do that. It was actually Pagan that went into Bochy's office.
Down the line, and a foul ball. We have 6 umpires, and that's one of those calls where having that line umpire really helped.
It certainly makes it a lot easier, because this was awful close to being extra bases once again for Pagan. He was one of the league leaders a year ago in the category of putting himself into scoring position. Take a look right there at Ted Barrett, the umpire, veteran umpire down that left field line, as usual, getting it right.
And a 1 ball, 2 strike count. $15 triples. Legitimate speed in this ballpark where you can get some of those. That's going to be a base hit into left field. Pagan just taking it where it's delivered, as he's done throughout this classic. And he's on again. There you have Bill Miller, our home plate umpire, working the game. Edgar Estevición as first base. Major League umpire Wally Bell at second. Trevor Grieve is at third. Ted Barrett, Major League umpire, in left field. And Paul Hyam down in right. You can see with their jackets on, it is a bit cool here tonight and will get cooler. Temperature by the time we get done will probably be in the upper 40s. So the leadoff man on Pagan is Falou. He drew a walk and scored the run in the ball game. He'll take the pitch. It'll miss down low for a ball.
And I really think in this situation he's got to at least take one strike. Right along with the fact that he walked in his last at bat. Let Angel Pagan get as many looks as he can at the pitcher coming to home and possibly steal second base and do what we talked about earlier, putting himself into scoring position.
And the step off and no throw made over to first base. We don't see that much in Major League Baseball where pitchers do that at first.
But I know one thing with Maheda here, the athleticism that he had, he's got a good move.
Runner not going. Ball will be popped up. Third base. Not a lot of room in foul territory and not enough here to make a play. We haven't seen a lot of running here in the Classic this year. Puerto Rico's done as much as anybody. They've got 6 stolen bases out of 7 chances. And they have really used that to their advantage. And Pagan over there has 2 of them, 2 for 2.
I just couldn't help but think, Gary, as you talked about there not being a whole lot of foul territory here, as you see that ball would have been caught at the old ballpark here in San Francisco. There was all kinds of room at Candlestick.
All the new ballparks bring the fans much closer to the play. There is a throw over to first base. Pagan back.
And he was going on that particular pitch right there. I don't know if it was going to be the hit and run or just a straight steal, but Maheda caught him leaning there.
We talked about it in San Juan. It was also true in Tokyo. The foul territory was enormous. That really helps pitchers. I mean, it gives you outs. Bullpen has been active throughout here for Japan. Runner not going. That pitch misses. And the count goes to 2-1.
Right now, I think is the perfect time to send the runner, as opposed to when they lined into a double play on the last hit and run in the top of the second. This is the perfect spot right here. You've got speed at home plate, and you've got the pitcher in a hole where he has to throw a strike.
Maheda with the runner going. Ground ball back to the mound. Still going to get him. There's one relay. Big double play. Boy, that Gold Glove. 2 of them that have been earned by Maheda on the mound showing up here early in this ball game.
And the only place in the world that Falou could have hit the ball where it would have been a double play. Because of the speed of Pagan, you could see the shortstop there was covering. There was a hole between shortstop and third. Look at the shortstop coming into view. If that ball could have been hit in the hole, it would have been first and third. That is just a bad break for Puerto Rico. But I love the fact that Edwin Rodriguez continues to be aggressive.
So he's recorded 4 outs in the last 9 pitches. Double play in the second inning. Feliciano hit into it. Now Falou hits into one. That'll clear the bases. Beltran at the plate with 2 down and nobody on. And that pitch is going to be in there for his strike. He drew a walk, 1 of 2 in the first inning. Aviles got the RBI base hit. Almost all Japanese pitchers have that hesitation in their windup.
I don't know if everybody realizes how tough that is to do too. You have to have not only tremendous balance, but your back leg strength has got to be unbelievable.
Then to still be able to control your pitches. 2-1.
Take a look at him here. Watch how he pauses right there. It's just simply to add a little bit of deception. And the one thing that they can do, they can hold it a little bit longer from time to time, and they can get a little bit quicker.
Beltran takes the 2-1 slider for the called high strike. Maheda threw 50 pitches in the bullpen Friday in preparation for this start. Said he felt as though he was in a groove after that bullpen session. 2-2 delivery. We haven't seen that here. He's thrown 48 pitches already, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bear in mind the pitch count now for pitchers has been up to 95 here in the semi and finals in San Francisco. As we went through each pool, the number of pitches increased, and really, for starters now, they're up to where they'd probably be in a regulation game.
Well, which basically means with everything going right, the possibility for a complete game exists here in these last couple of games of the World Baseball Classic.
See the 49 thrown already. We should note for Puerto Rico, Santiago's on the mound. He is the only starter eligible to pitch today. All of their other starters need rest according to the rules. That will be foul back, and the count will stay at 3-2.
And you and I were talking before the game. I think it's so important for Santiago to be able to get deep here tonight. Take a look at the numbers there. You mentioned the 95 pitches, 4 days. If he lasts through 50+ pitches, both of these starters are done, obviously, for the tournament. And then the relievers right there. 1 day, if he threw at least 30+ pitches, the only thing where that would matter would be for the teams tomorrow.
Netherlands and the Dominican Republic in the second semifinal game tomorrow night. That will be fouled off. Count goes to 3-2. We'll see whether or not things go according to Hoyle, whoever Hoyle was. The expectation here is that it will be Japan winning this game, and tomorrow the Dominican Republic will win, and those two will match up in the final. That's the expectation. Then again, there have to be games played.
And I tell you what, after the series in Phoenix and Italy advanced, I've quit predicting anything.
Ninth pitch of the at bat, 3-2 delivery, swung out and missed. Again, throttling back on a Beltran retired. Mejia gets his second strikeout, faces only 3, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Puerto Rico leads it 1-0.
It kind of looks like Kenta Mejia is starting to get it together. There you see Abe asking him, where you at? Where's that split-fingered fastball? We're going to have that. It's not there, but what is there has been that slider. Look at the 0-2 pitch to Yadier Molina to help him get out of a jam, and then watch the last pitch of the last inning. That's a 3-2 count.
That ball put up in the air to left field. It is back near the warning track, and it will be hauled in. Nakata going after the first pitch, their left fielder, and almost got one out of the yard.
Well, you know what? He did get one out of a lot of the other yards, but it's starting to get a little bit later. It's a little bit cooler than what it was earlier when the game started, and this ball just simply is not going to carry. Everybody out there in those left field bleachers thought that a souvenir was headed their way.
And again, Santiago starts this out. 1 pitch, 1 out. Here's Nava, the first baseman. Nava's had a 6 for 19 with a home run and an RBI. Japan is on top as far as home runs that have been hit in this classic. They have hit 8 home runs. You compare that to the 1 for Puerto Rico, and that's going to be a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That's 7 in a row that have been retired now by the 28-year-old right-hander Mario Santiago. 1-1 delivery on the way, foul back into the screen.
And I think, Gary, right along with what you said, he's getting quicker. I mean, that ball was fouled straight back. He had to get another one, and he's like, get in there, let's go. I think Japan has got to try to slow him down.
If they don't, 9 innings are going to disappear on him. And Abe's a very big hero in Japan, 40 years old. He's had over 2,000 hits. You hear the Japanese fans singing and jumping. They do this for his entire at bat. They'll end it right here. The changeup is the strikeout for Santiago, his second.
Not only was it a changeup, but it was outstandingly located. Look at the glove of Yadier Molina, and look at the compliment that he pays his pitcher. You know what? If you just do what I say, you're going to stick around and have a lot of success tonight. Up to this point, he has done exactly that.
Santiago's 7 out of 8 first pitch strikes in the ball game, and the first pitch strike here, Matsuda goes to center field. I mean, Santiago's just mowing him down. That's 7 pitches. Japan has shown no patience at the plate, willing to make him work. Puerto Rico's got the lead. Fans, want to remind you can go to WorldBaseballClassic.com, bookmark it, your own one-stop source for news, video highlights, online shopping for authentic jerseys, caps, collectibles, and more. Shop 24 hours a day and gear up as you support your team by wearing the official colors of your country. WorldBaseballClassic.com, accessible on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Gary Thorne, Rick Sutcliffe. My grandson requested 2, not 1, 2 Team Italia jerseys today.
Oh, really?
So I got to go online and do some shopping.
You know what? I think you can go into the lobby at the hotel.
I saw the stand there today. Do they have all the?
I don't know. I would start there.
I'll have to
though.
look there.
I saw Burt Blyleven buying some stuff.
I was going to say it was for sale. It's fouled back. Nobody'd buy that. Here's Yadier Molina. Molina struck out his first time up. He's 7 for 20. Ricky Bonas, the pitching coach for Puerto Rico, and I was talking with him before the game today. I said, okay, what are you going to do here? How do you win this thing? He said, we pitch well. He said, I told Mario Santiago, follow your nose. And then he looks at me and smiles. He said, your nose's name is Yadier Molina. That goes to center field. Itue is there. We'll put it away. 1 down here in the 4th inning.
You know, Gary, a lot of times you look at a young pitcher and you wonder, is he going to last? Well, I really never worry about how a guy gets to the point where he releases the baseball. You let everybody do whatever they do. But how they finish. Look at the arm finish of Maheta there. Look at how it completely wraps around his back. And the way I had that described when I was a young man is that your arm is it's like a dragster. And when a dragster hits the finish line, what happens? A parachute comes out. There's a lot of room for it to slow down. It's not like it hits a brick wall. For those guys that don't have that rotation and the elasticity to let that arm come all the way through, trouble is normally going to happen. Boy, Maheta has a beautiful finish.
And Maheta with the 1-0 delivery, and Aviles will foul it away. Like Aviles again coming through for this Puerto Rican team. The RBI base hit. First inning, he has now driven in 9, even though his batting average has been fairly low. Boston Red Sox 250 with 13 homers, 60 RBIs, where he finished up last year. Aviles will be followed by Rios. We're in the 4th inning already of this ball game, and the Aviles RBI holding up. Puerto Rico 1-3-0. Japan coming in with the highest average and the most runs scored. All 9 have been retired. Maheta with a 2-1. And Aviles on the off-speed misses.
I'll tell you another thing, Gary, that Aviles has done that surprised me. I didn't realize he could play shortstop as well as he has. He made an error the other day. He kind of got caught in between on a ball, but for the most part, he has made all of the plays and, of course, driven in most of the runs.
2-2 delivery. And Aviles will pop that one up right side. Again, those outfielders so deep, a long way to go. Uchikawa comes on to get it. Aviles is out of there, 2 down. That'll bring up Rios here in the 4th inning. Maheta went 14-7 in league play this past year with Hiroshima. Had a 1.53 earned run average.
He led the league in the pitcher's triple crown.
And the delivery on the way, and Rios will take that breaking ball for a strike.
He's just got so many weapons. The fastball command all of a sudden starting to be there, along with the slow curveball, the hard slider. Just missed, as opposed to missing by a foot or more in the 1st inning. The only thing he hasn't got going yet is that split-fingered fastball, and that's something that's usually more effective to a left-handed hitter.
1-1 delivery on the way. That's going to miss outside. 2-1 strike count. Maheta's thrown 62 pitches so far. Led the Japanese league last season. Wins, strikeouts, and ERA. The triple crown for pitchers. 24 years old. 2-1 delivery. Way out in front of it. Foul ball.
That's what happens when you struggle. You get something off speed that's in a position you can handle, and you're too quick, as he was here. And what normally happens after that, you get a fastball on the inner half of the plate, and you're late getting to it.
He's not had the ball out of the infield in his last 9 at bats. Really unusual with the power he's got. Rios, the 2-2. And that'll miss outside. So a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I'll tell you one thing, Gary, I'm trying to bear down on Rios and see what's wrong. It looks like his stance is slightly closed, and that's not when he's at his best.
And he'll foul tip it into the mitt. Ada gets the strikeout. That's going to be his third. He retires the side in order for the first time in the ball game. And a pitcher's duel, and we've seen so many of them here in this World Baseball Classic, is underway here in San Francisco. There are a few people who have tried to take a swim from that island. They haven't gotten very far. That's Alcatraz, one of the longtime prison haunts in the United States. It is now part of the National Park Service, where you could take tours, where the Birdman of Alcatraz was made famous.
You know, that's something I truly would like to do.
Go to prison?
No. I'd like to tour a prison, but I don't know if I could sleep after doing it that night, man. Maybe I should.
You've never gone to Alcatraz?
I never have.
Oh, you got to go over it.
No.
It's a great tour. The Park Service takes you through it. They show you the cell where the Birdman of Alcatraz was. They show you other cells where some of the infamous criminals were. They show you where there were 3 attempts, I believe, to swim. People who actually got to the water at Alcatraz and tried to swim. The current there is unbelievably strong. Nobody ever made it, but if I remember right, one disappeared. They never knew what happened to one who left, but they had a feeling he didn't make it to land.
Well, they don't know. He might have made it, huh?
Well, he might have made it. That's if I remember the story right, that's true. Tordiani grounds out again. That's 10 in a row, retired by Mario Santiago. What a job he is doing here in this start. He pitched in the Korea Professional Baseball League before signing with the Dodgers in the offseason. Not really a lot known about him, and the Dodgers, I guess, Rick, have signed him kind of as an insurance policy.
They have. I mean, he's a guy that can step in, and that insurance policy might become part of their starting rotation when the season begins for 2 reasons. Zach Greinke, the $100 million free agent that they just signed, has elbow problems, and of course he's pitching so well.
Santiago's doing a heck of a job here. That ball's going to be fouled off.
You know, Gary, I heard a great story from the front office of the Kansas City Royals today. They really wanted to keep Santiago. He was a great kid. He was great for the organization. He was pitching well. But he had some issues with his family and some financial problems, and he needed to make more money. They let him go to Korea so that he could not only take care of his immediate family, but his parents, grandparents, and some other things.
Good for them. A base hit up the middle, and there's the first base runner for Japan. Ibata, the designated hitter, gets his 9th hit of the Classic, and Japan finally gets somebody on.
Well, it was just another routine ground ball. Let's go back and take a look at it. Trying to stay down, keep the ball out of the air. There was a pitch to hit, not able to do anything with it. That's really the first slider that we've seen. It wasn't that great of a pitch, but the thing about Ibata, he's such a smart hitter. He uses the whole field, and when he saw the gap up the middle, I think he tried to dictate that action. I'm going to get a pitch that I can hit in that direction, and he was rewarded because of it.
Well, see if they can make something of it. Uchikawa grounded out his first time up. Uchikawa batting in the number 3 spot. That's outside. Great stop made by Molina as he scoops that one up.
Once again, if you're going to shut down Japan, you cannot give away bases. And that's what Santiago tried to do there with a wild pitch. Yadier Molina says, nope, not on my watch.
Seiichi Uchikawa helping to hold a runner at first base, signaling Ibata the ball had not gone by. 1-0 count, 1 down. And a chopper down to third. That is going to be a foul ball.
I really think that Santiago right now is paying too much attention to Ibata at first base. He's not a burner. He's not a real fast base runner. And if there would have been a little bit more patience on the part of Ichikawa, I mean, we've not seen that from anybody with Japan yet. This is ball 2. I mean, that ball down in the dirt once again, but boy, it's almost like the team from Japan can't get their at-bat over with soon enough.
They have 29 walks in the Classic along with 29 strikeouts, so they've drawn some walks. Yes, they are a very good hitting ball club, as we said, at least coming into this game. We haven't seen any of that yet. As a team hitting .294, they'd scored 43 runs. The Netherlands with 35 was second in that department. Slow roller first base. Rivera will tag the runner. Try, didn't get him, but he's out outside the base paths. Home plate umpire makes the call. Bill Miller. He had the view. He was going right down the line with him.
And I really love how he took charge there. Take a look at Bill Miller. Look at him hustling from the very beginning. He makes sure that Yadier Molina is out of the way, and then he could clearly see the tag. He points in the direction. I saw the glove with the baseball in it make contact with the man's back. That is something that the first base umpire might not have been able to see. I love how the veteran of 14 years at the big league level just took charge.
Good job to get it done, and good work with the umpires working together. Estevizion at first base and Miller, the home plate umpire. Estevizion waited because that call was the home plate umpires until that ball gets to first base or beyond. And then he waited for Miller to make the call, and he did. 2 down, runner at second base. Ivey up, fly to left field his first time up, and will take the pitch for a ball.
Look at Yadier right there, saying, look, I've gotten you this far. Just pay attention to what I'm doing. If I want a fastball in, get it in, throw it for a strike. He's looking in the on-deck circle. He realizes this is the one guy in that lineup particular that you do not want to let beat you.
27 home runs, 104 RBIs last year. He hit .340. Was the Central League MVP. Ave will take it away, and the count will go 2-0. Do you even want to fool around with him? You just walk him. You see, with runners in scoring position, first 3, 296, last 3, 371. Ave's got 7 runs batted in. And that's going to be outside. The count goes to 3-0. 34-year-old at the plate, showing the first sign of patience that we have seen in this lineup.
I think you're right. I think they're pitching around him. I know those last 2 pitches were both of them changeups.
Don't miss.
And again, a 3-0 changeup. I might have thrown that pitch to Babe Ruth if I would have ever faced him. But that's the respect they're showing right now, Gary. Now I think Molina's going to want that fastball in. Let's see if we can't get in there.
Runner at second base. Here's the 3-1 delivery. Got it in there. Slow roller. Going to be a tough play. Santiago guns it. One hop, and a nice play by Rivera. They get the out with their defense coming through for him that time, as Santiago made the one hopper to first base, and Rivera was able to scoop it up. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. First hit of the ball game for Japan, but the defense gets it done for Puerto Rico. It's still 1-0. Well, a very surprising situation in this ball game, with Puerto Rico getting a run in the first inning on the Avila base hit, and they've made it stand up so far. Maeda on the mound has struggled a bit with control. Here's Rivera, who will foul it off. Rivera, the first baseman, who made a nice pick on that last defensive play.
Santiago doing everything he could, making sure he didn't throw the ball away, thinking down, the ball skipped, and Puerto Rico catches a huge break. I believe he's out. What a great call. I thought he was safe when I first looked at it, but I think I got fooled by looking at the first base coach.
Rivera had a single his first time up. Ground ball toward short this time. And he is retired. Sakamoto, the fine young shortstop, puts it away. And 1 away here in the 5th inning. That'll bring up Gonzalez. 67 pitches thrown by the starter. Maeda settling in after that first inning when he walked 2 with 1 away, which resulted in the Avila's RBI. Here is Andy Gonzalez. Gonzalez headed to a fielder's choice his first time up. He's gone 3 for 18 in the Classic. Puerto Rico making it to the semifinals for the first time in the 3 World Baseball Classics. They've got 11 players who have played in the Classic before, 6 of whom are here for the 3rd time. 0-1 count. Maeda outside with it for a ball. You may wonder why there aren't any major league players on this Japanese roster. Well, this team was put together beginning last fall. They actually have tryouts. They invited 33 players to try out, and they cut 8. and set the stage, and then had this team working out since January as a team. That'll be popped up towards first base. And they consider it disrespectful to the players who made the team if a player was invited from the major leagues later to replace somebody who had tried out and made it. And so they set their roster and said that's it. And even if players in the majors had wanted to come, they were not going to get invited.
You know, kind of interesting. They had 3 guys back in '09, just 4 short years ago, on the all-tournament team. Aoki, the outfielder for Milwaukee, Daisuke, of course, and Iwakuma, the pitcher. All-tournament team. We don't need you.
2 down is Feliciano. Feliciano hit into a double play his first time up. He's gone 1 for 12. Puerto Rico trying to pull yet another stunning upset in this World Baseball Classic. Far from over, but they're in a much better position right now than I think most people would have given them at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, but who would have thought that Figueroa would have dominated the 6 innings that he pitched? And once again, Santiago throwing zeros up as well.
Yep. Pitch is in there for a strike. 2-1 on Feliciano. Pagan top of the order waiting. Here's the 2-1 delivery made, and we'll get the pitch at the knees. In there for a strike. 2-2. And he certainly has settled in since the first inning. Doesn't have anything to do though with the guys in the bullpen. Japan still has guys standing around. They're not throwing right now. That bullpen's had somebody in it right from the get-go.
I know. I think it might have got his attention though.
Here's the 2-2. And that'll be up high. Full count.
I know one thing. He hasn't walked anybody since that first inning. And all of that activity started to flourish down that left field line.
He's faced the minimum number since then. A single 2nd inning double play, single 3rd inning double play. Retired the side in order in the 4th. 3-2 with 2 down. Got it in there, and that's going to be a base hit. Good at bat, Feliciano's 2nd hit.
That really was. I mean, that's just a terrific at bat there. With the count 2-0, Maheda was able to throw 2 sliders for strike. So on a 3-2 count, in the back of your mind, you know what? He may try to backdoor that slider again. He thought about that. He had it in the back of his mind. He did not get fooled and take strike 3. Instead, he hit a bullet to get out there at first base to keep the inning going and to bring up their best offensive force.
So they do turn it over. Discussion, I'm sure, about pitching. Bullpen's active again. Pagan is single and grounded out. Feliciano on at first base. Japan does not worry about their guys in the bullpen throwing a lot in the bullpen. They'll still come into the ball game. They'll let them come up 2 or 3 times down there in the pen before they bring them in, and they'll throw a lot. Interesting that Japan set their pitching rotation. They've got only 4 relievers on this staff. The rest are starters. So most of the pitchers you'll see are in fact starting pitchers, even if they are working out of the bullpen.
We know the big thing that tells me, having been in that situation, is that as a starting pitcher, when you get asked to get up and throw out of the bullpen, it's going to take you a little bit longer than it would a normal reliever.
Strike at the knees. Well, 2 outs have usually been good luck for Puerto Rico. Their last 5 runs have come when there have been 2 outs in the inning. That Avila single in the first came with 2 away. Pagan's got 2 out here with a runner at first base. Didn't like the call. 1-2.
Well, it's unhittable. It's absolutely unhittable. Again, working with the big zone of the home plate umpire, and look at this curveball. I mean, you can't reach it for the longest time, and it really came around the plate. But boy, it sure looked good when it went into the glove.
Pagan with a 1-2 count, 2 down. Pagan's one of some players in this classic who have a relationship with San Francisco. Pagan, of course, plays with the Giants, a member of their championship team. Santiago Casilla of the Dominican Republic will be coming back for his 4th season with the Giants, a reliever. And Hensley Meulens, the Netherlands manager, bench coach for the Giants. He'll be coming back for his 4th season. Netherlands play tomorrow night against the Dominican. 1-2, runner goes. Here's the throw. A lot of time. Ball waiting. Got him. The veteran Abbey behind the plate put that one right on the money. And again, only 3 faced here in the 5th inning on the caught stealing throw.
You take a chance with 2 strikes on Pagan. If he gets thrown out, the worst case scenario, Pagan is going to lead off the following inning. He got thrown out by a lot.
Well, what a gorgeous sight here in San Francisco. There's so many great views. Golden Gate Bridge, of course, being the primary one when you think of San Francisco. We go to work here. Santiago. Pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Sakamoto will lead it off. He grounded out. Itui will follow, and then Nakata. Sakamoto 5 for 22 with a home run, 6 RBIs. And to Santiago's credit, really the outs for Japan haven't even been hard outs. 173 hits to lead that Central League. And chops it foul.
You know, I know you enjoyed your time in Miami, but you really love this city, don't you?
I'd move here and live in a heartbeat. San Francisco is one of the world's great cities. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that will miss outside.
You know, and what a tremendous park here in San Francisco to host anything, really. It had the World Series here, an all-star game, a lot of concerts.
Hit hard to center. That's going to fall in for a base hit. That is the hardest hit ball we have had. Nakamoto gets the single here in the 5th inning. They get the leadoff man on base. We will be back here, semifinal round at number 2 tomorrow night. Team Dominican looks to avenge their WBC losses to the Netherlands. The winner plays for the championship Tuesday. AT&T game time 9 tomorrow night, 1 GMT time. Diego Marquel goes for Henry Mulin's team against Edison Volquez for Tony Peña's Dominican Republic.
A little bit of concern for the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Bert Blyleven telling you and I before the game, their closer, Kenley Jansen, may or may not be here. His wife just having a baby. They're hoping that he arrives in time for the game tomorrow night, but there's a chance that he won't be here. And it's so funny to look back at the notes from '09 on the Netherlands. Jansen was a catcher back in 4 years ago. Now he's a closer for the Dodgers and, of course, for the Netherlands.
That's a pretty big change.
Oh.
Itoi at the plate, a strikeout victim. You saw him trying to lay the bunt down there. It's a 1-0 ball game. Puerto Rico leads. Squares around again with Gonzalez charging in at third base. Koji Yamamoto, the manager, believes in the bunt. He plays for 1 run at a time. It's the way this team from Japan has played in the World Baseball Classic. They've scored a lot more than that. But he loves to use the bunt, the hit and run. Anybody will bunt. He's even had his cleanup batter, Abbey, bunt in one of the classic games.
I'll tell you what, he's not going to be happy with that effort right there. That Itoi, look at this right here. I mean, that's a pitch that should have been a ball to begin with. Not a very good. And one thing we know about Japan, they'll pull a guy out in the middle of an inning on defense. If they don't like an at bat, they'll make a change.
Play well or you're gone. So Itoi now with 2 strikes, and the runner at first base. Gonzalez still in at third. Ground ball towards the hole. Got to be knocked down. Falou the play. Got him. Oh, what a beautiful play. Falou at second base. He made the perfect throw to get it over, and look at the coverage here at first.
There might be somebody in the 9th inning that gets credit for a save, but this right here might actually be the save, and I think he gets the call perfect. Look at the effort there on the part of Rivera. Now watch him. He's got to get back to the bag. He's got to catch the throw and find the base at the same time, and he is able to do that.
Boy, what a great play that was.
Well, boy, you know, I mean, if he's safe right there, if they don't make that play, you know that this guy's going to lay down a bunt. Then you've got 2 runners in the scoring position, and you only have a 1-run lead.
All right, now Rivera's saving the bacon for Puerto Rico with this play at first base. Runner at second, though, potential tying run. The count is up. Look at Falou get down and knock that down. Wow.
Boy, the range that he showed, you know, that he was hanging out close to second base, trying to turn the double play.
Sho Nakata will take the pitch. He flied out to left field his first time up. Nakata had a chance to come to the U.S. and play. He had offers from the Twins, the Mets, and the Mariners, but he decided to stay in Japan after high school to become a real good home run hitter for the Ham Fighters. And we're going to get a little visit to the mound here along with the trainer regarding Santiago.
Well, I think Falou is telling Santiago, you've got to be honest. Something is wrong with him right now. They're going to make a change, and it looks like he was pointing to his right shoulder.
Obviously really upset. Pitching a great game.
We'll go back and take a look at that last pitch that Santiago threw. You know what I saw there was him kind of flexing his hand as if he felt something in that shoulder. Yadier Molina coming out there and saying, what's going on? Are you all right? You all right? No, you're not all right. Right off the bat, he said, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. No, you're not. Something's wrong.
So there's a, well, we'll see how much this matters, but their starter is gone. Well, Santiago, 4 1/3 innings, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, only 61 pitches thrown. Just had a tremendous start and obviously really disappointed, but something wrong.
Yeah, you know what? As we look back on it, it was when he covered first there. There's the changeup that he throws. All right, he knows he doesn't have to get over there. He's fired up about the play, but as he walks back to the mound, you can see him start to grimace a little bit with that elbow. And you know what? It explains right now why Gary, in the last 3 innings, we've only seen him try to throw 1 breaking ball. Instead of the shoulder, as Yadier Molina pointed to, I think it's the right elbow of Mariel Santiago, and that's an absolute shame. You can only hope, as he stretches it out there, that maybe, hopefully for his sake, it's just a cramp.
And he's not even going back to have it checked or to do anything with it. And I also wonder whether they knew about it before, Rick, because they had bullpen action. They had 2 pitchers in the bullpen before that inning started, and he was well within his pitch count. So maybe something was said even between innings.
He had to have said something. That's a great point.
Or otherwise, I don't think the pen would have been up. So Santiago out of there, 4 1/3, couple of hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. This bullpen for Puerto Rico, he's got a strikeout pitcher coming in here. This is Jose De La Torre.
Well, it's certainly not the bullpen that Tony Pena has for the Dominican Republic. There's a lot of people here that you've never heard of before. For De La Torre, it's kind of been an up and down World Baseball Classic. At times he's been outstanding, and at times he's been roughed up.
Overall, the bullpen 2-1 with a 3.56 ERA. 30 1/3 innings worked with 32 strikeouts for the bullpen, Puerto Rico. Nakata up, runner at second base. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count now. Puerto Rico leads at 1-0. Another opportunity for Japan. They got a runner to second in the 4th inning and stranded that runner. Sakamoto had a single. He went down on the ground ball out. Now a chance to get this ball game tied up here in the 5th inning. And a swing and a miss on a pitch away. 2-2.
There's a couple of numbers that jump out at me with Nakata here. The fact that he hit 24 home runs, he's got that big leg kick, he's got big time power, but the fact that his average was under 240 tells me that there are a lot of holes in this long swing. A couple of breaking balls to get back into the count at 2-2.
And that'll be outside. He will stay away from that one. De La Torre, with those 3 runs, 6 hits, and 4 innings worked, he's given up 1 home run. These numbers obviously can be a bit deceiving because there's not a lot of work that these pitchers have had in the Classic. Teams have spread it out over their bullpen. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way and outside. So he'll draw the walk. First walk picked up by Team Japan. 2 on, 1 down. And we want to remind you MetLife is proud to cover tonight's game with the unique aerial shots from one of America's most recognizable blimps, Snoopy 2. For over 25 years, the MetLife blimp has provided one-of-a-kind aerial coverage of sporting events, and they are thrilled to have the blimp here for the 2013 World Baseball Classic. Game 1 semifinal, and the great shots from on high here in San Francisco. So for the first time in the ball game, Japan gets 2 on in the same inning. That's what it looks like from up there. Here's Inaba, a strikeout victim his first time up. Big quick cut for a strike.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking about tying the game up with that swing. He was thinking about giving Japan the lead. And you know that's the reason, the biggest reason that Inaba was added to this ball club, his experience. He had an outstanding World Baseball Classic back in '09.
Inaba with a 0-1 and a chopper foul. If you look at the fans, we talked about this in his first at bat. In every at bat, in every game he plays in, the fans from Japan stand up and jump. This is called the Inaba jump. It's to honor the 40-year-old who is a real baseball legend in Japan. They do this for the entire at bat. He has a song, they sing the song, and they jump. I love it. 0-2 the count. Runners off first and second base. And a chop at it, and he's out of there.
Tremendous job on the part of De La Torre for executing the pitch. And once again, Yadier Molina calling for that breaking ball in the dirt. And the confidence you have to have as a pitcher. That ball bounced in front of home plate, but it had absolutely no chance of getting past the catcher for Puerto Rico. Molina just smothers that, keeping runners at first and second, keeping the possible go-ahead run from getting into scoring position.
So that will leave it up for Matsuda. De La Torre trying to strand Sakamoto at second base. Nakata at first. 2 down. Matsuda swings at a pitch away. They have been anxious.
And there's been no patience whatsoever. That's ball 1 right there. One thing about Matsuda, I watched his batting practice. He's got as much power as anybody in the lineup for Japan. Looking for something middle in, dead pull hitter with everything I saw earlier today in BP.
300 hitter during the season. 0-1 delivery to him, and that'll be fouled off. Japan's had a great number with runners in scoring position, 339 in this Classic. They just haven't had many chances here, and you can almost feel the pressure building on this team that finds itself in this situation against a real underdog in Puerto Rico. They'll be trailing 1-0 in the 5th inning. Matsuda 9 home runs, 56 RBIs with the SoftBank Hawks. Here's the 0-2 delivery. They set up outside, and he doesn't chase. You saw Molina, though, flip the glove to his pitcher saying good job to De La Torre, because that's where he wanted it. He wanted to see if he could get him to bite at a pitch outside. He wouldn't go. The ever active Yadier Molina.
You look at what he's doing. He's moving that defense around according to the pitch that he's going to call. I got to feel like it's another breaking ball away.
Outside, Molina will go out and get it. Holds the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not only a great stop, but you can tell that he's angered by that pitch not being any closer to home plate. Looking at De La Torre like, what in the world are you doing? When I put down that breaking ball right now, I want you to throw it for a strike. There's a little bit of tension right now that's getting to the reliever from Puerto Rico.
How about the eyes on Molina looking out there through the mask? 2 ball, 2 strike count. Runners off first and second base. And he got him, and Molina gives it the K.
That's what he wanted. You just do what I tell you, and I will get you out of this jam. Once again, Yadier Molina helping to shut down the great offense of Japan.
Listen to Ricky Bonas as he told his pitching staff. Follow your nose, and your nose is named Yadier Molina, and it works. And Puerto Rico continues on top. Two teams who have not faced one another prior to tonight in the World Baseball Classic, putting on a show here in San Francisco. This copyrighted telecast, presented by authority of the World Baseball Classic Inc., may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 33-year-old left-hander comes on. Nomi went a 10-10 mark with a 2.42 ERA during his regular season in Japan. And Pagan, the leadoff batter, is up 1 for 2.
Gary Nomi's one of those guys that you talked about, normally a starting pitcher. He's won at least 10 games the last 3 years over in Japan. He's a guy that for the most part throws a lot of strikes.
It's Ishinomi with a 1-0 delivery, and Pagan will foul it away.
And I really like what the team from Japan is doing right now. Their manager, Koji Yamamoto. I mean, they've got a couple of switch hitters coming up here. The first 3 guys for Puerto Rico. Turn them around. See if, I mean, we know the swing from the left side has been pretty good. Let's see what they can do from the right side.
10 hits now and 27 at bats here in the Classic for Pagan. Pitch way up high. The starter, Mejia, who we talked so much about and who was 2-0 coming in, settled down, gave up only a run on 4 hits in 5 innings. He walked 2, and they both came in the first inning, and one of them scored. He struck out 3. Aviles has the only RBI in the first inning on a base hit. A 1-0 ball game. Pagan will take it for a strike. So the starter threw 80 pitches. Nothing wrong with the outing ultimately.
No, there really wasn't. But you know what? That tells you how great he really is. He didn't have his best stuff. He didn't have a split-fingered fastball at all. The command to begin with wasn't there, and yet he only gives up 1 run through 5 innings.
Pagan at the top of the order with the 2-ball, 2-strike count. And he'll foul that one away. We're told on Mario Santiago came out of the ball game, the starting pitcher for Puerto Rico, right forearm tightness.
That's the best news that he could have heard right there. And you hope that it is below that elbow, that there's nothing in the elbow that has actually been damaged.
Pagan 2-2. His delivery will be bounced. So another full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You can see him looking down right there like, please go away. I want to continue this ball game. They just wouldn't do it. And once again, Yadier Molina taking charge. That's it. That's it. We're not going to take a chance on hurting you.
And the 3-2 delivery. And that'll be put in the air to center field. Until he is there. Pagan retired, 1 away in the 6th inning. Another pitcher's duel underway. To the credit of Puerto Rico that has held down this firepower we've seen from Japan. And for Puerto Rico, the opportunity here with every out to have another upset. They, of course, beat the United States 4-3. Going to the 9th inning to win it. That's going to be bunted foul. Falou with that good speed trying to get a base hit off the bunt.
Hey, what, looking back on it, Gary, for Puerto Rico, they've scored 1 run now in the last 18 innings. And when you go back to the success that they had in round 2 down in Miami, the only way they score is a lot like what they did in the first inning. You have to walk somebody. When they scored 3 runs in the inning against USA, 2 of them were walks. When they scored the 3 runs in the comeback against Italy, the first guy walked.
They just are opportunistic. And they bend and don't break.
That's the perfect way to put it. If you give them an opportunity, they have been taking advantage of it. But other than that, they can't score.
And Italy committed errors that allowed them to put runs on the board. Another opportunity. 1-2 delivery. Falou grounds that one down to third. Big hop. Maxita's up. You take a look at Puerto Rico in that second round in Miami. They opened up with a loss to the U.S. 7-1. They came back to beat Italy 4-3. Then the United States again 4-3 and would ultimately lose in a game for seeding to the Dominican by a score of 2-0. And that second round, I mean, you look at them and say, how the heck are they doing this? How did they make it? Well, that's how they did it. One-run games they came back to win, or got a lead and held on to it, which is what they're doing right now against a heavily favored team from Japan.
You know, just watching Beltran right now, he looks like a man that's locked in. I know he's not put the ball in play yet tonight, but he's got that look.
He has drawn a walk and he has struck out. He gets the left-hander. 33-year-old Nomi with a 1-ball 1-strike count on Beltran.
Once again, you got a hitter facing a guy that he's never faced before.
That's going to be a base hit into left field. He got one up. 2-out single.
He just had that look. I don't know what it is. I've seen it for a long time. And as he walked to home plate, it's like enough's enough. I'm going to hit this ball hard. Took a look at a couple of pitches. Got that one that he liked. Look at the calm, how he's just able to slow things down and hit an absolute bullet.
So again, a ball game where the hits are singles for Puerto Rico. That's not been uncommon. 5 hits in the game, and one station at a time is the way they're doing it. Yadier Molina 0 for 2, 7 for 21, all singles. Down to third, they'll go for the force at second place. Matsuda to Tortiani, and that'll retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. And this game of pitching here in this semifinal game continues. Here in San Francisco, 1-5-0 for Puerto Rico, 0-2-0 for Japan. As Santiago, a great job, no runs, 2 hits in his start. 8 of the same, giving up that 1 run that came in the first inning. Just 4 hits. The walks really hurt in that first inning.
Well, back to the first inning. This ball not hit real well, but Gary, you had made the comment during the inning that the outfield was awful deep for Japan, and even with 2 out, they were not trying to cut off that first run. But up to this point right now, that's the difference.
Ways to go. See if this offensive team can get going for Japan.
Well, a ways to go, and all of a sudden, the last couple of innings, Japan starting to get that going. They got their first base hit in the 4th. They were actually able to get 2 base runners in the 5th.
Garitani's ground ball will go to second base. Falou is there. 1 down.
I tell you what, it's unbelievable. I don't know why I'm surprised, but we have seen Yadier Molina take control of a ball game before. There is not an offense in baseball that he can't shut down. Look at the play right there that he come up with. He's telling the outfielders nothing over your head. He's telling the center fielder to come in, get over to right center. Absolutely nothing getting by him. You would want him to be a goalie if this were a hockey game. And look at the passion, the fire that he continues to show.
They gave him the day off in the ball game yesterday, just to make sure he was going to be ready to go in this one. And that's a strike. Did not get the timeout. Ibada backed out, and the strike was called, and this is the way this game has gone. They just can't slow down these pitchers for Puerto Rico.
Well, when they try to slow it down, they're not getting any help from the umpire, and he just simply waited too long to get that timeout. There's a breaking ball down in the dirt. The previous pitch was a fastball that he had stepped out on and had to take. That's just giving away an out, and Japan starting to get down to their last few.
Ichikawa has grounded out twice. 2 down, and the pitch will be inside for a ball. Ichikawa, their number 3 hitter. Look how quickly, I mean, this clearly this isn't an accident. This was clearly a game plan for the pitchers for Puerto Rico. Get that ball and throw it back. Do not let the Japanese hitters get settled in that batter's box. 1-1 delivery will miss outside. We saw Santiago do it. De La Torre now is picking the pace up. I mean, Molina's giving him the sign as soon as he gets a ball.
And right along with what helps that pace continue to be fast is nobody's shaking Yadier Molina off. What do you want me to throw? Here it is.
Pitch will miss down low, and a 3-ball 2-strike count. I mean, I've seen Puerto Rico from the games played in San Juan through Miami and here. This staff didn't do this. This is the first time they've ever worked like this. That's going to go to center, and that's going to fall in and get by. Pagano's on his way to third. Relay throw cut off, and the runner will make it. Pagan tried to make the diving catch, didn't, and it cost a couple of bases.
Absolutely no reason to try to make that play. That's as bad of a mental mistake as any outfielder could ever make. You have a 1-run lead. You have 2 outs. You cannot let them get a runner in the scoring position. And he not only missed that, he missed that badly. I mean, I like the effort. I like the fact that you want to make the play, but you also have to recognize the situation. That cannot happen in this game, in this situation.
And Pagan, of course, is playing in a ballpark he knows very well. This is his yard. That's his position for the Giants.
Well, and you force Edwin Rodriguez here to go get a left-hander. You can't be careful with Abe. You can't put him on because that would be the go-ahead run. You've got to go bring a left-hander in now.
Japan gets a runner to third. Fans from Japan on their feet with a chance to get this ball game tied up or better. Shinosuke Abe coming up, their cleanup batter. He is 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's had a couple of home runs in the Classic. 2 down, runner at third. Cedeno outside for a ball.
The last time Cedeno was on the mound, it was the same kind of situation. He was brought in to face the cleanup hitter for USA, which was the left-handed hitting Joe Mauer. He walked Mauer, and that was the only hitter that he faced that night.
Abe with a big cut and a miss. Abe, the batting champion in the Central League, the MVP, and a tremendous year for this soon-to-be 34-year-old. 340, 27 homers, 104 RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike count. He will foul that one away. And Cedeno gets ahead of him, 1 and 2.
Boy, that was a great pitch there on the inside part of the plate. Not seen a great breaking ball out of Cedeno like with most left-handed relievers. Seen a lot of good fastballs.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. Abe goes down swinging with a breaking ball. And Cedeno comes on and gets it done. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left at third. That's 4 left on by Japan in the last 3 innings, and 3 of them have been in scoring position. Puerto Rico keeps the miracle going. 1-0 lead for Puerto Rico. The best result they had in a World Baseball Classic was in '09 when they finished 5th. First time they have made it to the semifinal, and here they are against a heavily favored team from Japan, and they've got the 1-0 lead in this ball game, and they have played well, getting big outs. Edwin Rodriguez's team so far getting it done.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened in between innings. There's only one guy that could have done this, and that's Yadier Molina. With all the experience that Angel Pagan has out there in center field, there's not a coach, there's not a manager or another player that could have said anything that would have been received as well as that was.
That ball's going to be a base hit into right field. Mike Aviles. Boy, what a classic he's having. That's a couple of hits. He's got the lone RBI, 2 for 3 in the ball game, and a leadoff single here in the 7th. So for Puerto Rico, they're doing it the hard way. One station at a time.
Well, and you know what? They're just taking advantage of the mistakes that Japan has made. And they made a couple of mistakes in the first inning with the 2 walks. Aviles capitalized with the base hit. Right, all of a sudden there on an 0-2 pitch, Aviles says, if you're going to give me something to hit, I'll take advantage of that.
The left-hander Nomi on the mound will face Rios, who is 0 for 2. He is due 3 for 24. And the throw over to get Aviles back to the bag.
Well, Japan is just so well coached. They're going to make that throw to first to see if Rios would tip his hand like he might be bunting. And the only reason for that is because of how much he has been struggling.
Nobody out. And he lifts that one down the line. It is going to be a foul ball.
Even though it's just a long strike for Alex Rios, Gary, that had to feel good. I mean, just to finally square something up. Taking a chance right now, leaving the left-handed reliever in to face the right-handed power hitter, but they also know there's another left-hander in the on-deck circle.
0-1 count. Aviles not going anywhere. And the pitch will miss, and the count goes to 1-1. Rios, 25 homers, 91 RBIs last season with the Chicago White Sox. Outstanding outfielder. Just trying to get the swing down here in the spring training time for these major league players.
Rios is a guy that's driven in over 100 runs 4 times in his career.
1-1. Oh, mercy. Way back and goodbye. Home run.
Unbelievable in a game of baseball how one swing can make a lot of bad things go away. Before that hanging breaking ball and a 2-run homer from Alex Rios, he was 3 for 24. They took him out of the ball game yesterday after a couple of bats just to clear his head. Well, he easily cleared that fence in left center field to throw up a huge 2-spot and a 3-0 lead for Puerto Rico.
His first RBIs of this World Baseball Classic. And really, Rick, I think the mistake was leaving the left-hander in. If he was going to hit a long bomb off somebody, it was going to be a left-hander.
And you know, we've seen Japan do this. What about after the first breaking ball? And I mean, he crushed it down the line just foul. You wanted to see it again. They threw the same pitch, and it happened again. Only fair.
No, yeah, Nomi's out of the ball game. Puerto Rico had gone through the second longest streak in World Baseball Classic history without a home run. That is their first home run in the last 46 innings.
I think they might have been shocked more so than Japan.
The longest streak had been by the Netherlands, going 54 innings back in 2009. What an opportune time and what a game. A 3-0 lead as Rios delivers the homer, 2 RBIs, and drives Nomi out of the ball game. And now against the left-hander, you get a right-hander coming on to do the pitching.
Gary, just all seems kind of backwards, doesn't it?
Yep.
I mean, it's obvious now that the right-hander is coming in at least 1 hitter too late.
Tadashi Setso, ground ball down to first. That will be fouled by Rivera, who's got a base hit, 1 for 2 in the ball game.
When you look at the numbers, Setso's really one of the better relievers that they have, one of the better options. I would imagine that if he has a little bit of success, he's going to be in there for a while. Once again, as there has been throughout the game, activity in Team Japan's bullpen. But I think this is the guy that they're hoping can hold it right there, and in hopes that And the last 3 innings that they have an opportunity to hit, they can get something going.
Puerto Rico getting just their second home run of the Classic. Aviles has the other. And right now, with a 3-run lead, 3-7-0. Puerto Rico 0-3-0 for Japan.
You know, I really think that the mistake that Yamamoto made, I think he thought that they were going to bunt with Rios. Rios doesn't bunt. I mean, he's one of those power hitters that you got to wait for him to come around. And I think they were just late going to the bullpen.
Rivera reaches and a soft liner. Sakamoto hauls it in. Well, that's interesting, Rick, because I mentioned before, you've got a manager on the other side in Japan. Yamamoto believes in the small game. He has bunted his cleanup batter in this Classic. So his mindset is different than what Rodriguez's is on the other side. He may have been thinking about the way he thinks about games.
I bet in the back of Edwin Rodriguez's mind, he was thinking, man, I wish he could bunt, but I can't ask him to do that. I mean, that's not what he does.
Rios hadn't had a sacrifice bunt since 2009. But if you manage the other way and you believe in small ball and believe in everybody in the lineup needs to bunt, if you're thinking that way, maybe he was, I don't know.
I just think Koji Yamamoto got caught. I think he got caught going to the bullpen late.
One down here, Andy Gonzalez. Gonzalez has grounded out a couple of times, 3 for 19. Nomi goes an inning plus, 2 runs on 3 hits. And this team from Japan that came in being led by powerful bats and outstanding pitching, struggling in both departments here in this game. That ball down the line, and it will stay in fair territory. Ichikawa going over to get it. Gonzalez retired, 2 away.
You know, it's not so much that Setsu's stuff is that good. It's just that his delivery is so deceptive that if that fastball says 90 miles an hour, it's going to seem to a hitter like it's 95. He short arms it with his delivery, and it basically looks like it just comes out of his ear.
Setsu gets a couple of outs here. Feliciano is single, 1 for 2, their number 9 hitter. That one moves everybody at the plate. Hitter, umpire, and catcher. Setsu's played for one of the really good teams in Japan, that SoftBank Hawks team. 17-5 with a 1.91 ERA and 193 innings worked for Setsu during this past season. He led the Pacific League in wins and was 3rd in ERA.
That's why he's making the big bucks over there.
Yeah.
One of the higher paid players.
And the count is 3-0. Top of the order, Pagan waiting on deck. 3-0 delivery, and he walked him. And again, they turn the order over. Now, Setsu, the free pass, 2 down, Pagan coming up. We should mention the rule that in Major League Baseball in Japan have agreed to. In order to get players from Japan to play in Major League Baseball now, there's a 10-year requirement. A Japanese player is not eligible to come to the United States until he's played in the Japan League for 10 years. Or you can do something called posting. If the player goes to his Japanese team and says, I would like to go to the U.S. to play, they post him as an eligible player if the team agrees. Then a U.S. team would have to pay both the team from Japan and the Japanese player in order to get them. That was Daisuke Matsuzaka's situation.
Yeah, we've seen that with Yu Darvish. Of course, I believe that Ichiro played his 10 years before he came over.
Yeah.
And of course, when you post yourself, then every organization has an opportunity to make that bid. And then the club, I believe, is required to take the highest bid.
Pagan had a single, 1 for 3. 7th inning. Big 2 RBI homered by Rios. 3-0 lead Puerto Rico. Setsu's pitch is going to go towards the gap in right center field. Cut off. Runner will go to 3rd. And Pagan's got his second hit. 2 for 4. 1st and 3rd. 2 down.
Well, the one thing that Team Japan did correct before that hit was they told all of their outfields, nothing over your head. Get as deep as you possibly can to cut off the gaps. And that's so important right now, because if you're at normal depth and that ball gets by you, Puerto Rico would have scored another run. But because of the defensive alignment to begin with, they have not yet done that.
And it looks like we're going to get another pitching change after the salute from Pagan. Playing here in his home park, World Series winner last year with the Giants, and what a World Baseball Classic he is having. Yamamoto will make the decision here on the pitching change. They'll come to the home plate umpire to give the changes they're going to make, so they're going to go to the bullpen again. Keep in mind, this is a must-win game. Winner moves on and the loser is done. Rios with a monumental blast in this ball game here in the 7th inning, bringing in Aviles ahead of him, who had singled. And forcing deeper into the bullpen, there is Rios, hitting his first home run of the Classic this year and his first RBIs in the Classic. And they could not have come at a more important time.
You know, the one thing about Puerto Rico, though, it's, as we mentioned earlier, it's not the bullpen of the Dominican Republic. I mean, a 3-run lead right now with 3 innings to go. That game's over with Tony Peña's team. You just don't know if 3 runs is enough. So this becomes an even more important at bat.
First and third, 2 down. Falou up. And he'll take the pitch up high. Seguchi, the left-hander, a 12-4 record last year in Japan with a 2.04 ERA. Another starter working out of the bullpen. He had 24 starts. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Ground ball towards third base, looking for the final out at second. They will get it there. Matsuda will make the play at third. But what an inning. They pick up the 2 runs, 3 hits. Rios the homer. 7th inning, stretch time in San Francisco. Back here in San Francisco for the first of the 2 semifinals in the World Baseball Classic. The Netherlands and the Dominican Republic will play tomorrow night. We'll have that game for you. But tonight, bottom of the 7th inning, Puerto Rico leads it. Japan batting. Can this bullpen of Puerto Rico hang on to this 3-0 lead? Japan's had only 3 hits in the ball game. Sakamoto, one of them a single, 1 for 2. And a 1-1 count. .311 hitter during the regular season.
You know, Gary, I was just thinking, if there was one guy that I would want to get a rally started for Japan, he's standing at home plate right now.
1-1 delivery to him. Slow roller to short. Aviles over. One down, bottom of the 7th. As
we look at the lineup and what has not happened for Japan, the thing that jumps out at me is right in the middle there. Abe has been their big horse, one of the best players over there in Japan. The last couple of times he has been up, it's been with runners on base, and yet he has not been able to come through.
Really a tremendous job by this team from Puerto Rico. They haven't given up. Oh, and that hit him. Cedeno came inside. Itoy gets hit with one away.
Right now, even though that hurts, it has to feel good in a lot of ways for Japan. They need base runners. They're not the type of team in this ballpark that's going to hit 4 solo home runs to come back and get the lead. They're going to need some help. And just like what Puerto Rico did when they got some help, now it's time for Japan to capitalize.
Puerto Rico's had their pitchers hit 6 batters in this Classic. See if this matters. Show Nakata up, and we'll take it for a strike. Nakata's drawn a walk and he is flied out. Japan has not been able to have patience thus far in the ball game, but they have got to find it now and try and get some pitches to hit off this bullpen of Puerto Rico. 0-1 delivery. That was fisted left center field. Feliciano's there. 2 down.
Tell you what, Gary, we have given Yadier Molina a lot of credit for putting down the right fingers, but you have got to give the pitchers tonight credit for hitting that glove. That's exactly where he wanted that fastball. Look at the glove, and it literally never moved. That fastball in on his hands, and he knew when he hit it that it wasn't going anywhere.
So 2 down. Looking over into the dugout now. Nakata is due up. He obviously is going to go back. And we will, or Inaba's due up rather.
And with the left-handed reliever on the mound.
They've got the bullpen active here, so there could be an answer if they choose. Chono is going to come to the plate. He has been one of the leadoff hitters for this team in the Classic. He and Toritani have gone left-right, depending on who's pitching. And let's see if Puerto Rico wants to match it up here.
It doesn't look like it. Ricky Bonas is running out to mound. A little bit of advanced scouting report that these two teams have on each other. And I really don't think Puerto Rico started planning on Japan until yesterday. And when they put the lineup out that didn't have Yadier Molina in it, we kind of felt like, all right, they're planning on playing Sunday night.
They haven't had time to think about anything except the game that they're in. Proud to have one of the world's most recognizable blimps providing coverage of today's game. The unique aerial views of the World Baseball Classic delivered live from our friend and I in the sky. MetLife's Snoopy 2. Great night to be upstairs. Chono at the plate, runner on at first base, and will take the pitch inside. So going to the bench here to try and find some offense and maybe get that potential tying run to the plate. 4 for 17, no home runs, but 6 RBIs for Chono. Itoy at first base, hit by a pitch. There are 2 away, however. Xavier Cedeno, the 27-year-old left-hander on the mound, came on to retire to get the final out in the 6th inning. Now trying to work his way through the 7th. 1-1. That'll be outside.
You better make a good pitch here. This is one of the top power sources that Team Japan has on their bench available. He's going to be looking for that fastball right now and trying to do some damage with it.
2-1 delivery on the way to him, and the off-speed breaking ball is in there for a strike.
Well, I can't tell you what a great pitch this is. Look at the location. Watch the glove down and away. Once again, as always with Yadier Molina, it was caught perfectly. Look how he catches that in the webbing so that he keeps the majority of that glove in a better spot.
And the 2-2 delivery is swung on and missed, and the tag put on. And Cedeno gets the strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. 7 complete. And Puerto Rico trying to pull the upset, leading it 3-0. So we are back. A 2013 World Baseball Classic, and a classic it is right now. The fans for Japan hoping, but running out of time. 3-0 Puerto Rico. And a strike taken. This is Beltran. Molina will follow, and then Aviles. A single, a walk, and he is struck out. And the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. Puerto Rico would just love to add some more. Suguchi on the mound. Trying to find some outs here. Pitch will be taken away for a ball. 2 ball, 1 strike count. The fourth pitcher used in the ball game by Japan. Loose ball from the bullpen.
Really
back by Bill Miller, the umpire.
Gary, Puerto Rico has played the spoiler role in each one of the rounds that they've been in. It was a 6-3 win over Venezuela in the first round that knocked them out. And then, of course, in the last round, that 4-3 victory over USA ended their tournament. And now they're trying to do the same thing here to Japan.
Two-two delivery on the way, and that will be fouled off. Changes made. Nakata has moved in from left field to play at first base. Get the left fielder Uchikawa, who was playing in right field, and Cho will stay in the ball game, and Chono will play in center, and Nioti will move over to right field. So a lot of changes made. Only one new player. That one grounded. Pitcher's got to cover. Won't need to. No play. So Nakata, who had just come on to play at first base, has to go to his right. Can't get there. If Beltran is on, it'll be an error.
I don't know if that's the correct call. And I'll tell you why. Because first of all, you've got a guy that just changed positions playing first base. You've got a left-handed pitcher on the mound, which is going to make it more difficult for him to get there. And you got a guy like Carlos Beltran who still can run above average. Look at him take off. Look at the hustle there. When he saw the ball come off the glove, he kind of shut it down, but I think he could have beaten that out.
We'll see if they reconsider. For the moment, the error is the first of the ball game. Leadoff man on again. Leadoff man on in the seventh, followed by the home run by Rios. Leadoff man on here. Here's Yadier Molina with Rios on deck. Molina 0 for 3 in the ball game, 7 for 22 in the Classic, and that is in for a strike.
We'll never know if Carlos Beltran could have beat him to the bag or not because of the ball hitting off the heel of the glove of Nakata. And again, I'm surprised. There's a right-hander in Japan's bullpen ready to come in, and they're going to let Yadier Molina face a left-hander.
It has been all backwards in that regard in this game. Molina will take the pitch, and it goes to 1-1.
I mean, as you have said many times, it's win or go home. There's no reason to save anybody.
Yamamoto, their manager. Juan Rodriguez. Here's the 1-1 delivery. That is in there for a strike to Molina.
Yadier's not going to say a word to Bill Miller because he's going to want that strike zone to grow as big as it can possibly get during these last couple of innings.
The base runner over there. Beltran at first. And the ball off the fist towards center field. Tono will move in and make the catch. Molina's retired. Winner of this is going to move to the championship game, and the winner of this game will play the winner of tomorrow night's game. It'll be the Netherlands taking on the Dominican Republic in another game in which the Dominican will be a heavily favored team. So far, that hasn't mattered in this game. And coverage of the World Baseball Classic. You take a look at how it came down with Japan defeating the Netherlands 10-6 in that final game, and the Netherlands a surprise team to make it here, adding a couple of players after that last round. And they will have to do the same thing Puerto Rico has done so far here tonight, and that's play the spoiler role to try and get to the championship game over a powerful team from the Dominican. 1-0 delivery. That is going to be there for a strike. Mike Aviles.
You know, I know that Japan, this team here, does not have the star power, if you will, that the team in 06 and 09 had. But those teams scored at least 5 runs in all 4 of the semifinal and championship game. They've only got 3 hits through the first 7 innings here tonight. And we're not talking about, facing a Hall of Fame staff. We're talking about a bunch of people who have struggled to get to the big leagues that have shut them down.
2-1 delivery on the way. This has been for Japan a really disappointing night. They'd outscored opponents 43-24 coming into this ball game. They'd scored more runs than any of the 4 teams here in San Francisco.
Well, Gary, if you remember, the first thing we talked about in the open tonight was, is it rest or rust?
Yeah.
5 days without playing a meaningful game. It kind of looks like rust right now.
Breaking ball that is in there to Aviles. Aviles has had 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. You don't have to go very far back. Ask the Yankees and the Tigers about developing rust. The playoff season last year, both of them did. 3-2 delivery on the way, and a slow roller that's going to go foul. Baseball, a game of momentum and of routine. And players, even if they get tired, even if they're playing a lot of baseball day after day after day, the routine is what keeps them going. If that routine gets broken, you're in trouble.
Gary, we saw it in game 1 of the World Series right here in this ballpark with Detroit. I mean, the next thing you know, they were getting blown out with only 1 run through the first 8 innings in game 1 against Barry Zito.
After they blasted the Yankees, who had the same problem playing against Detroit in the ALCS. Whether that's the issue here or not, take nothing away from Puerto Rico. I mean, they're getting the job done. Came out with a great game plan. We don't talk about game plans very often in baseball, but I really think you have to in this game. They had a game plan regarding what they were going to do with their pitching staff to keep the Japanese hitters off balance, and it has worked. 3-2 delivery on the way, and that one's fouled back as well.
I mean, it was almost like in football when they go to the hurry-up offense.
Yep.
This was the hurry-up defense that we have never seen before in this World Baseball Classic.
And Japan did not adjust. If you don't adjust in baseball, you lose. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Aviles battling. 9th pitch of the at-bat. And it's up high. What a job on that one to get the walk. 2 on, 1 down. And we are going to get, I think, another pitching change right here. You can tell by the looks and the faces of those players from Puerto Rico starting to feel it. You can't let it. They know not done yet, but boy, they want this thing over. They're that close, and they're starting to taste the upset. So Puerto Rico remains on top, and they start running through this bullpen of Japan, which has had its problems with a 5.74 ERA. Here at AT&T Park before the ball game, there was a moment of silence in recognition of a loss in baseball. Cuban pitcher Yadier Pedroso, just 26 years old, killed in an automobile accident. He participated for Cuba in the World Baseball Classic, pitched for La Habana in his home country of Cuba, and was one of their bright stars. And as we said, only 26. Our condolences to his family and to his teammates on a baseball loss that was recognized here tonight. Way too young. Here is Rios. Runners on at first and second, 1 down. The bullpen again.
Akui, one of the harder throwers that's going to come out of Team Japan's bullpen tonight. You see the numbers there. And this World Baseball Classic, just last year, converted to a closer. Really good arm, good stuff.
Hideaki Wakui delivers, and that'll be fouled back by Rios. Rios delivered the home run in the 7th inning, a 2-run shot. Made it a 3-0 ball game. The RBI by Aviles in the first, it held up. Still nothing on the board for Japan, but Puerto Rico trying to add more.
I can't help but think what Carlos Delgado said during batting practice to Alex Rios. It just takes one swing to get things going.
He certainly had that swing. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that will be a strike on the outside corner.
Let's go back and take a look at that one swing that Duggo might have been talking about. It certainly helps to get a good pitch to handle, and that he did. That breaking ball up and out over the plate. For once, finally able to extend those arms and do what he has done a lot of in his career.
Runners off first and second base. Beltran and Aviles. That will be fouled off. It'll hold the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Play in the 8th inning. Japan with 2 at-bats left. Well within striking distance with the power they have in their lineup, but so far Puerto Rico has found a way with their great pitching to hold this team from Japan to just 3 hits. Again, the 1-2 to Rios. Down to first and foul. Of all the players that the outfield is shortened up on, Rios is the one, and it's because of the runners. They want to have a play at the plate, but they've really moved in. Joano in center field is way in. Ichikawa in left has moved in a few steps. Really, the right fielder's the only one back in a normal position.
You know what? If the center fielder were positioned where he is right now, the first run driven in by Aviles, he could have caught it where he's standing.
Yeah. They've played deep on everybody all night and now move in. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Rios will take it outside. Still only 1 away in the inning.
Well, that's a terrific effort on that slider just off the outside corner. And honestly, from what we've seen down in Miami and in the first couple of bats here tonight, a pitch that Rios has been chasing.
Runners off first and second. The 2-2 delivery. That's going to go to center. He wasn't close enough to catch it. Good read. Beltran coming. He's going to have to be held. That's why they had him in. They had him in for the play just like that. And for the moment, at least, it'll hold the runners with the bases loaded and 1 down.
Well, you got to give Carlos Beltran some credit as well for recognizing, Gary, what you talked about. The outfield defense had shortened up, and he was not positive to begin with this ball was going to drop in. It was hit right there. All of a sudden, he had to turn around and take a look, remembering what had happened. And when he did that, there was absolutely no chance to send him. But with only 1 out, Team Puerto Rico still in a really good situation to bust this thing open.
And the matchups continue. Again, we're going to go to the bullpen here. And only 1 batter faced by Wakui. Pretty much tell the story. Here are the pitchers available tonight. You see those scratched, those left.
Tell you what, when Maheda started this ball game tonight, they did not expect to have that much confusion down there in their bullpen. We've mentioned it before. We think a couple of times they might have been a little late making a change, but they've made a lot of them tonight.
Yamaguchi will come on to do the pitching now. The bases are loaded. Matchups: lefty against lefty. Rivera with the sacks full. He's 1 for 3. The infield will move in for the play at the plate if they can get it there. Beltran's the lead runner. And that'll be fouled off at the plate for a strike.
Yamaguchi, again, one of the better arms down there in that bullpen. Easily their top left-hander. See, the ERA is a little bit high. He's given up some runs in this thing, but he did not give up hardly anything a year ago in Japan.
ERA of .84 in Japan, striking out 68 in 75 innings. 0-1 count. Infield stays in. Check swing. Did he go? Look to third. Yes, he did. Trevor Grieve with a call, and it goes to 0-2.
Well, that makes things a lot more difficult than having a count of 1-1. If you take a look there, I do not agree with that call. Neither did Carlos Rivera. an opportunity for Edwin Rodriguez, the manager of Puerto Rico, go to that bullpen. Maldonado, a right-handed hitting catcher, first baseman.
0-2 delivery on the way. Got him. Didn't agree with that one either. Yamaguchi gets a big strikeout.
I don't either. I think the count's 2-1 right now on Rivera. He absolutely had the bat taken out of his hand. Look at that pitch. That pitch is closer to the right-handed batter's box than it is the outside corner.
So the bases remain loaded. Now there are 2 down. No question about what he was saying.
And he's right.
And here's Andy Gonzalez.
I never minded as a hitter, and I've had hitters say that you take the first strike, the second strike. Okay, if you missed it, I don't have a problem. But don't take the bat out of my hands.
Gonzalez has had an 0 for 3, bases loaded. And a strike on the inside corner. Yamaguchi coming on to try and get it done. We have had 4 pitchers for the last 8 hitters, as Japan continues to move them out of the bullpen. 6 so far have taken to the mound. Beltran got on with the error, the walk to Aviles, who's at second, and Rios with that single at first base. The 0-1 count of Gonzalez. Obviously a big moment in the game. Outside, 1-1.
We talked about the key for Puerto Rico. They were telling us for the ball game, we got to put it in play. This team from Japan has had a lot of strikeouts, and really for the most part there was only 3 strikeouts for the lineup of Puerto Rico in this game until that last one, and I disagree with the last one.
And Japan has been the team that has struck out. They struck out 7 times. 1 ball, 1 strike count. 1-2.
Very little momentum for the fans of Japan, for their ball club, for their dugout. The one way you can create some momentum as a pitcher is to strike out the last guy of an inning. There just seems to be a little bit more of a lift with that than any other kind of out. Let's see if Yamaguchi can't do something that nobody else has been able to do up to this point.
Ready with a 1 ball, 2 strike count, bases loaded. And a roller down to first base, right to the bag, and the easy out recorded. He got it down there to do it, so a good job by Yamaguchi. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 are left on base. Will Puerto Rico pay for not being able to get another run in? We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Puerto Rico leads it 3-0. Well, this shows you the job that has been done by Puerto Rico in this ball game. Japan coming in averaging 10 runs, nothing tonight. 358 average, 3 for 24 tonight. They had 15 extra base hits in the second round. They've had 1 tonight, and that could have been a single and a 2-base error. What ended up being a triple. Runner in scoring position, 0 for 4. I mean, Puerto Rico's just shut it down. And now with 6 outs remaining, let's see if Japan can pick it up. Matsuda, the number 9 hitter. And he will take the pitch for a strike.
Randy Fontanez on right here. You can see he has not yet walked anybody in this World Baseball Classic.
Ground ball will go to short. Aviles.
I know that the manager, Edwin Rodriguez, makes the decisions. Ricky Bonas assists with which pitcher would come in. But I got a feeling Yadier Molina said, this is what I want. These guys are not swinging the bat. They're over aggressive. Just give me a guy that throws strikes and won't walk anybody, and I can get you 3 outs here in the 8th inning.
Here's the leadoff batter, and you watch how quickly Fontanez is pitching. He's right in line. He was at the pitchers meeting. He hasn't forgotten what they said. Get the ball, throw it. 0-1 delivery. Tani will take it up high.
Look how quick Yadier Molina gets it back to him as well.
This is like, let's go. All the way to the backstop on that one. That's why you want somebody, if you're going to play this kind of game, you want somebody who can throw strikes, because You're asking the pitcher not to take any time themselves watching here.
I think Yadi, you're asking him to do something he's not capable of doing, though, and that's pitch in. Fontenez doesn't throw that hard. I'm sure he's had some fastballs on the inner half that have been hit a long ways. He can spin it, though, for a strike with that breaking ball.
2-2 delivery up high.
Yadi wanting a change up there. He couldn't throw that for a strike either, so I guess you just go back to the breaking ball.
And the leadoff batter will punch it in the air to right center field. Big gap, a lot of room. Anybody going to get it? No. Right out of the reach of Pagan. He'll throw it back in, and going to be what was going to be a double. Antoniani took a look and said, no, I go all the way to third, and gets a triple.
Well, really surprised for the second time with some of the poor defense displayed in the outfield for Puerto Rico. That's just a routine fly ball, but there's so much ground to cover here that nobody could get to it. Perfectly placed in the outfield, but when it comes down, watch Pagan come up with it. He really needed to plant his feet. If he planted his feet and he hit the cutoff man with a decent throw, it would have just been a double. But because of the throw just kind of thrown up into the air where no one could get to it, it was easy to go from second to third, and with just one out, more times than not leads to a run.
Garitani on at third base. Second triple they've had in the ball game. Nevada with a chance for the RBI and get Japan on the board. They're not done. That is hit number 4 for Japan.
And you've got the heart of the order starting in the on-deck circle, representing what could be the tying run.
Nevada will take the pitch for a strike. You see 0 for 8, 4 strikeouts with runners on base. And the pitch will be up. They've not been patient. They've gone after bad pitches when they've had opportunities. The 0 for 8 with runners on. They haven't been able to move anybody around. No contact made. They're going to do it here. That's going to put them on the board. Nevada gets the RBI, his second hit, and it is 3-1.
The glaring weakness for Team Puerto Rico is staring them right in the face. And that is the lack of quality down there in their bullpen. Fontenez is a guy with below average stuff. He's got a decent breaking ball that he can throw for a strike. Trying to throw that 0-2 fastball past the hitter, left it up and out over the plate. And it looks like, I know one thing, the crowd has awakened here for Team Japan, has their offense.
Ricky Bonas will make his way out, the pitching coach. With the runner on at first base. And now Japan gets a potential tying run to the plate. With Ichikawa, their number 3 hitter. And Abe, their cleanup batter, on deck.
Well, it's all about doubles right now. Both teams hoping for a double. One team hoping for the double play. The other team hoping for a double in a gap to put that tying run into scoring position. Just a really good at bat, a guy that can handle the bat. Uses the opposite field probably as much as any hitter. You can see the eyes right on the contact there, and the barrel of the bat in play.
Pitch is outside, did not go around on it. Ichikawa's had a triple. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Devada on at first base, picking up his 4th RBI of the Classic. And Japan's got the part of the lineup up they want right here. Fontenez, he'll miss up high with it, and the count will go to 2-0. Bullpen, double barrel action. Puerto Rico, they're ready. Cedena worked an inning in the 3rd. He got a couple of strikeouts. De La Torre inning in the 3rd. And a walk, 3 strikeouts and a hit. That'll be in there for the strike. Three runs, 9 hits for Puerto Rico, 1-5 and 1 for Japan. Chikara waiting on the 2-1. That's going to be a base hit into right center field. It'll be cut off to hold the runner at second base. Rios gets it in. 2 on, 1 out.
You know that Edwin Rodriguez is going to come out and bring in the veteran J.C. Romero. But you also know that representing the go-ahead run is the #1 guy that Team Japan would want. And that is their slugger, their catcher, Abe.
Fontenez works only a third of an inning and gives up 3 hits, 1 run so far, and responsible for the 2 on. The big matchup coming up, a 3-1 lead for Puerto Rico. Well, for Japan, they know how to win games. They have won this World Baseball Classic both times it's been played. And now trying to get to the championship game again. A victory here would do that, but they have trailed throughout this ball game. 17-5 all time in the Classic, the most wins in tournament history. They've got runners on at first and second. Here's Romero, J.C. Romero, the veteran, coming on to pitch. Abe at the plate with 2 on. A run in here in the 8th inning. As big a cut as you can take.
One thing we know about Romero, and we remember back in 08 with the Phillies, he threw a lot harder back then, but he is proud of that fastball. Likes to use it, needs to locate it to be successful.
Abe, their cleanup batter. 0 for 3 in the ball game. Inside. Uh-oh, a runner's gone. They got 2 at second base. Somebody missed a sign. There are 2 at second. Just run them back there. There's the tag. Uchikawa took off. Ibata did not at second.
Somebody either thought they saw something or somebody didn't see something. What happened right there is that Uchikawa got a read on Ibata. When he saw Ibata take off, he put his head down to take off, as if to say, all right, we're going to get into scoring position ourselves. What a huge mistake on the part of Japan to possibly run them out of a rally, a possible big inning here in the 8th.
One of the most fundamentally sound teams that you always see. Gives up and out. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Abe will foul that one off. And the count goes to 1-2. Molina unassisted on the tag at second base. Just ran out. Ran him towards the bag.
Boy, when everything was starting to fall apart for Puerto Rico in the 8th inning, having the bases loaded with just 1 out, not able to add to that lead.
Delivery to Abe will be grounded down to second base, and the outfield grass Falou makes the play and gets the out. And that is it for Japan. 1 run, 3 hits. 2 could have been left on base, but 1 big mental error. Puerto Rico leads it by 2. Well, the fans from Japan trying to figure out what's going on here. 1, their ball club's down 3-1. 2, a big mistake on the base pass by Uchikawa, costing the out. Now Puerto Rico will try and add to it. We're in the 9th inning.
You know, if we would have thought there would have been mistakes tonight, we would have thought it would have been the other way around.
Absolutely.
If there was one team that was going to make an error, it'd be Puerto Rico. No, it's been Japan. If there was one team that would run themselves out of an inning.
Puerto Rico's done it all right. Feliciano, the number 9 hitter. He's walked, singled, and into a double play. Pagano and then Falou at the top of the order. 3-9-0 for Puerto Rico. 1-6-1 for Japan. Puerto Rico's left 8 on base. Japan has left 6. Check swing. He went around. Home plate umpire Bill Miller makes the call and a strikeout.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened there. Watch Romero. Romero's really slow to home plate. The high leg kick. I love the fact that they thought about running. If you're going to steal third base, more times than not, it's easier off a left-handed pitcher. There's none easier than that of J.C. Romero. But all of a sudden, for some reason, Ibata decided, you know what, I didn't get a great jump. I'm just going to stop. Well, that was too late for Uchikawa. He was already off and running. His head was down, and the out was recorded.
Amazing. Here's Pagan, top of the order. He's had a couple of hits. 2 for 4. Now has had 11 hits in 29 at-bats in this World Classic.
How many times do you try to steal second base and you're tagged out by the catcher?
Well, that's the other thing that happened there. I mean, Molina, number one, smart enough to go out and make that play. But if you're the base runner caught, you got to go back to first. You got to force a throw. You got to do something.
Yeah.
You can't just stand there and be tagged. You got to try and have an error committed, an errant throw, let the runner from second have a chance to go to third, anything. But he just stood there.
Get as many throws as you possibly can.
Just make him do something, not just run out and tag you. He went around on that one, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. That's interesting, too. The official scoring on that is a caught stealing with an unassist to the catcher. You don't see many of those.
Well, you're going to see Yadier Molina get a lot of caught stealing.
Wow.
But I don't know that he's ever had one like that before.
You may never get another one of those. 2-1 delivery down the line and right into the bullpen and foul.
Take a look at him here. Oh, what are they doing? Oh. And he's perfect at doing this. He knows there's a runner at second base. He circles, takes him right back to where there's 2 guys in the same spot. But like you said, you've got to take off going back to first. You've got to get the ball out of Molina's hands for one thing.
Then he winks at Wally Bell, the umpire. And the pitch is taken inside for a ball. 3-ball, 2-strike count of Pagan.
Another outstanding offensive night for Angel Pagan. Couple of base hits already. Look at him working the count here, trying to get something going.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And he got him. Yamaguchi's been tough. That's 3 strikeouts since coming in. 3 of the 4 hitters he's faced.
I'll tell you what, Gary, for me, most of these guys, this is the first time I've seen them in person. This is the most impressive stuff that I have seen yet tonight.
Real good breaking ball. Falou coming up for Puerto Rico. An RBI first inning by Aviles. A 2-run homer in the 7th by Rios to give them the 3-0 lead. They've out-hit Japan 9-6. Japan's RBI Ibata picked up in that 8th inning. And bunting for a base hit. Falou will foul it back. Seagulls are arriving, indicating the ball game must be close to an end. They are the only Seagulls in the world who understand a baseball game and know by looking at the scoreboard where we are in the game and that it's almost time to eat all the goodies that are going to be left behind because these stupid humans are going to be leaving shortly so we can have some dinner. Here's the 0-1.
So like most other ballparks, when the game's over and the crowd leaves, they bring in a crew to clean it up. They don't need a crew,
not
right?
Here. And look at this. And they know. They all the time, every game. Towards the end of the ball game. How do they know it's the end of the ball game? They start coming in, and this ball game for these Seagulls started early because normally in a West Coast game would be a couple more hours before the end. Ground ball to third, and the pick is made at first. Matsuda almost buried that one in the dirt. Well, for Japan, they are down to their final 3 outs. We go to the bottom half of the 9th inning, an upset in the making. Puerto Rico 3 and Japan 1. Now the fans, as we've seen in all of our sites in the World Baseball Classic, they've been so great. I mean, they really make the World Baseball Classic. The fans get into games, and the noise has been unbelievable. Love the baseball, love their teams. Same thing here.
It's been like a 9-inning party.
Yeah, it is.
Everywhere we've been.
And here we go. Ground ball, second base. How about that? Sakamoto going after the first pitch, and that has been the story of the offense for Japan tonight. No patience. You got to get somebody on base, and you go after the first pitch in the bottom of the 9th inning. See, Japan has won only 1 game when trailing by 2 or more runs. Round 2 against Chinese Taipei. It has been historically true for this team from Japan. They get behind. They've only gone 5-4 in the 3 World Baseball Classics, and they are trailing here.
You know, Gary, that absolutely shocks me as well, because there's not a team in baseball in the big leagues when you're down by 2 runs in the 9th inning that would not send the first guy up there and say, take a strike. He might walk you on 4 or 5 consecutive pitches, but they were up there swinging at the very first pitch, down by 2.
Itoi will take the pitch inside. He has gone 0 for 2 and been hit by a pitch.
You got to take that off your rear end. You have got to do, you can't budge up there at home plate when you're trying to get the tying run up. You don't want to get out of the way of that.
1 down in the 9th. On the mound, Romero stays on. They've got the bullpen, of course, ready. Pitch is taken inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Japan's got to get a runner on to bring the potential tying run to the plate in this game. Cabrera's in the bullpen. Fans for both sides are up here. 33,683 the attendance. 33,683. 2-1 delivery. Inside. 3 ball, 1 strike count.
Boy, Yadier Molina wanted that pitch, and he actually immediately turned and looked at home plate umpire Bill Miller.
Three-1 delivery. That's there. Puerto Rico at 4-3 in the Classic. Japan at 5-1. Here's the 3-2 delivery. He got it in there, and that's off his foot. It is a foul ball. Bill Miller made the call, arguing Molina.
They're not going to win this argument.
And he doesn't want to lose Molina.
But I think that Yadier Molina is right. To me, it like Itoi, when he first hit it, he went, well, that's going to stay fair. I need to start hopping around. I think he did an incredible job of acting. Molina's not going to get thrown out. There's no way Bill Miller would do that. This game is too important, as he is too important.
Never touched him.
No, sure didn't.
And he slipped coming out of the batter's box.
That's all it was right there. And then he decided just to play it out. If it would have touched him, it would have hit off that shin guard, which he never would have felt. You got to give him credit. I mean, he did the only thing he could do to keep this at bat going.
Here's the 3-2 delivery, and it worked. Keep that in mind. He should have been out. But the acting job worked, and the potential tying run's going to come to the plate in the bottom of the 9th.
And now the only thing that's coming out of the ball game is going to be Romero. Edwin Rodriguez will go to the bullpen and bring in his last closer, Cabrera.
Bottom half of the 9th inning. Puerto Rico trying to finish the upset, but they've got to get 2 more outs. Japan trying to keep this game going. Here's Cabrera.
He's got some experience both at the big league level, and this is his 3rd World Baseball Classic. He has never given up a run in any of the previous 2, nor this one. Puerto Rico hopes that continues.
Puerto Rico has converted the 4 save opportunities they've had. Cabrera's got 2 of them. Nakata at the plate, and the swing and a miss and a slider. Joe Nakata, who has had an 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. He is their number 7 hitter. Joe Ono's waiting on deck. Cabrera's got a runner at first base. Itoi, who drew that walk. The 0-1 delivery will miss down low, 1-1. Matsui's come out to be the pinch hitter. Kazu Matsui, who has major league experience, hoping for a chance at the plate. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Great location.
Boy, good late tilt to that hard slider. Watch how this ball goes down. That thing just exploding down.
With the NHL Game Center app, you can stay connected.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Close at first, and he gets him.
Well, with Nakata, the one thing Japan knows, it's usually all or nothing. And they're going to come up with nothing here. Here's a guy that hit well over 20 home runs. He's got as much power as anybody in that lineup, but he also had a batting average under 240.
Puerto Rico is 1 out away from pulling a stunning upset in this semifinal game. Here is Kaz Matsui. 2 down. First ball hitting in the air, center field. Pagan! Puerto Rico has upset Japan 3-1. They will move to the championship game.
When they talk about a perfect game, they're usually talking about a starting pitcher. But for Puerto Rico to win this game tonight and upset the 2-time defending champion Japan, they had to play a perfect game as a team, and I really feel like they did.
I will want to hear from Ricky Bonas, the pitching coach of Puerto Rico, on the game plan they came in with, because against this very talented, very powerful offensive team from Japan, they just shut them down. They never let this ball game get started for the Japanese offense. I mean, Japan's going to go into the dugout and ask, when does the game start?
Well, I'll tell you what, for me, Gary, it started in the bottom of the 8th inning. When they started out with a triple and a couple of base hits, and they had men on first and second. They had a situation to run. They had speed on the base paths. Ibata took off to go to third. All of a sudden, Uchikawa saw that. He takes off, and they run themselves right out of an inning. And I agree with you. I think Uchikawa was in such shock and so embarrassed that Ibata didn't go that he just gave up. And that was when Molina was able to tag him, and that was really the last threat that they had.
Well, an amazing ball game. There'll be a new World Baseball Classic champion, as Japan had won it the first 2 times around, and Puerto Rico
You're my former teammate. That's right.
is going to go to that game against the winner of tomorrow night's game with the Netherlands and the Dominican Republic. I don't know what the odds were. I'm not a betting person, but I will tell you this much. This team from Japan, big odds that they were going to be the winner in this game. And this is a major upset for Puerto Rico.
Well, I tell you, the one thing I've learned is not to doubt the ability to shut down any offense by Yadier Molina. He did it in '06 when they won the World Series with St. Louis. He did it in 2011 when they shut down the powerful Texas Rangers. And he has done it once again.
How about Pagan again?
Well, it's amazing. When the fly ball came down and they defeated Team USA, it landed in the glove of Angel Pagan. And the 27th out here in the first game of the semifinal of the 2013 World Baseball Classic lands in the very same glove.
And for Rodriguez, their manager, I mean, they look at one another going, do you believe this? Well, believe it, because you just won. And for the fans of Puerto Rico here in San Francisco, yet another celebration.
You know, and Gary, I think back to what Bud Selig said before this thing started, the whole thing. He said, this will be the biggest World Baseball Classic we've had. And when you think back to just the games in Miami, you think back to the Dominican coming back with a 5-4 win over Italy. And then the last 5 scores, 2-0, 4-3, 3-1, 4-3. And then tonight, once again, 3-1. The reason the crowds have been bigger and the event has been bigger, the games have been better.
And for the Dominican Republic, a warning as they get ready for their game. They will be heavily favored. Be careful. Santiago gets the win. A tremendous start before he had to come out with the little tension that he had in the forearm. Maeda, their great starter, 2-1. Cabrera gets his 3rd save. Rios, that big home run that came in the 7th. First RBIs he's had in the Classic. Could not have come at a more opportune time. 3-9-0 for Puerto Rico. 1-6-1 for Japan. And Puerto Rico will finally get a day off. After seemingly playing every day of this Classic, they will finally have a rest before the final game, and they will get to watch the ball game tomorrow night, and so will you if you come back and join us, as we'll get to take a look at another surprise team, and that's the team from the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which will go against the Dominican Republic, and they, like Puerto Rico in this game, will need a game plan as to how they're going to beat another powerhouse.
Well, we kind of thought this game tonight would come down to some of the pitching. I look for a lot of offense tomorrow night. Both of those lineups are loaded.
And that's going to do it here. Our 2000 World Classic is turning out to be a true classic. In the semifinal, Puerto Rico moves on. They face the winner. We will have that second semifinal game tomorrow at 9 Eastern. And the World Baseball Classic has brought a lot of surprises. For Rick Sutcliffe and all of our crew here in San Francisco, I'm Gary Thorne. See you tomorrow night. Adieu.